Alrighty, folks, how we doing? How we feeling tonight? We getting ready to rock and or roll. Who's here? Who's in the building? Who's with me today? How we looking? How we feeling? It's Sunday evening. Got the lights. Got the new camera angle. What's going on? Everything's new. Everything's different. You know what? Let's got this little thing in the mix, but it's got a lot of noise on it, and that's not very fun. There we go. So let's turn that off for a second. Oh, that's blissful. Less noise. As I get rolling, I want to take a second to acknowledge that for a very long time of my life, I've gotten to live, play, work, love, create, and enjoy living on a day-to-day basis on stolen land tended to and cared for and lived in harmony with by the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. And I wanted to pay my respects, especially right now as I'm about to leave this land, returning to a land that is somewhat closer to my blood and my roots, and appreciating the value and the power of a relationship to country. I just wanted to pause and really reflect. I've been reflecting over the past week the relationship that the First Nations people of this continent, so-called Australia, have had, and how heartbreaking it must have been and must still be to watch an ongoing occupation and seeing that sovereignty abused day in, day out by colonial powers, by overarching governments and sheer tyranny. So we're here and we're very grateful. I'm certainly very grateful that I get to be here only by the grace of the work that countless generations of First Nations people have done with this land. And I wanted to pay my respects to Indigenous elders, past, present, and emerging, because one day I aim to be back here in Australia, and I really truly hope that what we're doing today, what every one of us is doing today, makes for a better tomorrow and a better relationship with Indigenous practices, Indigenous thinking, because it truly can save the world. I believe that, and I hope you'll join me in that. During this time, I aim to have a good relationship with country, to tread lightly, and to be grateful for the air that I'm breathing. So I hope you are too. It's a small thing, but lately I've been going for walks in the morning, and there's gum trees all around. I'm in Coburg North, so-called, on Wurundjeri country, and there's gum trees everywhere by the Merry Creek, and they're beautiful, and the old ones have a very gorgeous scent, but actually the young ones, the leaves from those, I always make sure to just grab one, crush it up, and just walk smelling my hands, and it invigorates me, picks me up in the morning. And I think compared to a coffee, compared to some kind of Barocca or some sort of concoction made through science, why not enjoy of the herbal goodness that we can have in that relationship with country? So I just wanted to kind of share that. That just popped into my head just then. So yeah, we're loving life. Thank you for joining me. Already going down the deep dives. I just wanted to quickly adjust that a teensy smidge. What is popping? We got Muffins Mutty in the chat. We got Mikado in the chat. Mikado, what's going on? How you been? Haven't heard from you in a hot minute. But it's good. It's good to be here with you, and really appreciating people popping by and loving the love, loving the support. And look, there's no beating around the bush with this thing. I am leaving the country. I am leaving Australia. Probably not for good. Let's be real. Probably not for good. Jack, you are in the building. Much love, yo. Thank you, man. Thanks for popping in. Ravel, great to see you, man. Great to see you. Bless. I didn't even have to turn on Instagram today. Man's here. It feels amazing. It feels amazing to have built up this little gorgeous community of people who want to get around a bit of authenticity, a bit of realness. Yo, Wrath, much love. Thank you, man. Thanks for coming through. Big chats. Minty, yes. Hit those emojis. They fly around. And anyone that got given a sub, by the way, last week, Mati was throwing around subscriptions. If you got gifted a subscription from Mati, or if you buy a subscription, then you get to do one of these bad boys. Oh, look at this. That's my face. That's my face floating around the screen. Twitch is awesome. I'm building this over here. Bender over. Oh my God, what a name. I've been, my homie. Lockdown hit me with the smackdown. Happy to be here. Well, bless you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for connecting. Thank you for being a part of this world. Thank you for being a part of the world. every single one of you, every single one of you. I mean this when I say I love all of you, and that means plural, and that means whole. Every single one of you is a beautiful, gorgeous human being. I appreciate you, Bender. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part of it. Talking about these emojis and Twitch's features and all that kind of stuff, I just want to take a second. Every single person who's hit follow in the past on this channel, who's helped me get to this point right now as a streamer, unbelievable. It just means I'm in this state of mind where like I feel confident. Hey, bless you. Minty, thank you. I feel so grateful and so ready to take this plunge into my next stage of my life, knowing full well that anything could change tomorrow, but I know that I got this here. I know that I got good homies here. Thank you, Bender. You hit the button too. I love this. By the way, I got to work out my angles. There we go. Boom. Because this is some new shit. But it feels amazing. It feels amazing to be building this up and sharing this, because I'm in this place now where I'm having to make... Hey, Ravel, oh, thank you, man. That's amazing. Hey, you're a sexy boy, Bender. I don't even know who you are. If I'm being perfectly honest, I have no idea. That's a very anonymous username, but I love that you're here. I love that we know each other, evidently. There's a familiarity that I wouldn't expect from strangers, but I am a sexy boy. And I'm really grateful for that support, because the support that you're all giving me is what I feel so ready to take into the next chapter of my life. So, actually, now's a good point. Hang on. First off, let me just chuck on some tunes. Let me just chuck on a little bit of Vibe Union music in the background. Can you hear that? Hopefully you're hearing that. Hopefully you're feeling that coming through. Yeah, good little thumbs up. Thank you, Bender. I appreciate you. What I'm very excited for is where I'm at now, and what I'm really grateful for is I've been able to overcome, to a certain extent, imposter syndrome. So what Ravel is talking about, Ravel, I really want to chat about that right this minute, because it's the spot that I'm in life right now where I feel like I've moved one step up and above imposter syndrome by leaning into being an imposter. So not for 1 second am I sitting here telling you that I'm the guy, that I am ready, I'm going to be taking this on, I'm going to go kill it, like that this is going to be the best thing ever. What I know for sure is that I am allowed to be here. I'm allowed to be here in this space, in this screen that I've made this space. Yo, Illuminati confirmed. That's what's happening. I'm allowed to be in this space that I can create for myself. And if I can put a little wedge into the world domain and own just that little bit of space, then maybe I can knock on a door and be invited into a new space. And then that invitation... Hey, cool. And then that invitation, what will I do there? Thank you, Bender. I'll touch on that in a sec. What I do with that space, Ravel, if you're with me, man, if you're feeling this, like, let me know. There we go. Absolutely. Go show some love to the Vibe Union mixtape. We'll call it album. But imposter syndrome, I've moved beyond it because I decided after a certain point that the spaces I'm already in, I deserve to be there. I don't need anyone else's permission to be there. I deserve to be there. And if people comment and tell me, hey man, get out of here, or to be here, you need to comply with X, then I got to change my mentality. And then I got to decide for myself, do I want or need to fit into this space and conform with those rules? Or is this not the space for me? But the idea of being an imposter is purely assuming and looking around and going, maybe I'm not meant to be here. And I think that that's something that the sooner that we can decouple that belief from ourselves, the sooner we can be confident in the spaces we own. And so much of that, honest to God, so much of that came from finding spaces that are designed to be as open as possible. As open as possible. So I'm really grateful for that. I just wanted to, shout out like everyone who's helped me get to this point. Ravel, if you're with me, man, drop me a comment. Let me know if you're still vibing with this chat. If anyone's feeling that vibe, I can keep going down that tangent. Yeah, yes, I am. Whenever I try to upload something, I feel like people call me copy and fake. Okay, Ravel, and to anyone else listening, I feel like people call me copy and fake. Who here, hands up, drop me an emoji, say something in the chat. Who here has been called a copy and or a fake by someone else? Who can send me a screenshot, or who can remember an instance when someone actually said that to them? I'll wait. I've got some shapes, salt and mini vinnies. Bless you. Hey, Ash, bless you. Thank you, man. No one. Ravel, that's it. That's the comment. I don't get a highlight function here, but you know what? That's the one. Ravel's correct. And I promise you, unless you are around toxic, negative people, it's very unlikely that people are telling you that you're a fake, you don't belong here, you shouldn't be here. Got to get comments to get negative comments. There we go. I like that. And so far, the comments are flying in. Never been called weird too many times. We are all unique. I can touch on that a little bit later. Weird and unique, and the need to identify what someone means, and understanding the constructive nature of negative criticism. Ravel, I'm sorry, man. Shouldn't be here. Yep, that one is shouldn't be here. That's enough. Oh man. Okay. Absolutely. So let's touch on that in a bit. I want to keep going on this imposter thing. Unfortunately, they're your family members. All right, Ravel. I know we connected because you're based in India, right? And I'm a Pakistani. I'm actually about to go back to Pakistan. So let's talk about that in a sec. Because that is huge. Cultural attitudes around one's art, they are going to inform who we are and how we do what we do. And how we feel about what we do. So let's come back to this one about the feedback, about the toxic comments that we're hearing, right? So first of all, if your imposter syndrome is kicking in and telling you that you aren't supposed to be here, you're a fake, you're a copy, you're weird, first off, ask yourself, has anyone actually said those words to me, or am I projecting and putting words in their mouth? Bless. Thank you, Minty. I can't wait to touch on it because there's a whole gamut within that, which I think is the next step. What I'm going to do, I'm going to start writing some notes for myself. So, imposter syndrome, I'm going to call that stage 1, right? Stage 1. And then let's go weird/identity. And that's stage 2. So, let's talk about that imposter syndrome thing, right? All right, too easy. Imposter syndrome, stage 1. I'll circle this conversation off. I think there's not much more left to it. I think we're often our own biggest critique. You're right, man. What they ain't worth the time. Yeah, for sure. I think we're often our own biggest critique. A great quote I read the other day was, "You're far too strong to be the only thing standing in your way." That's amazing. That's amazing. Minty, you got it. Minty, you got it. I'm going to come and hit you with that in a sec. Agan, Ash, you absolute legend. Ash is a font of positivity and strength and motivation. And there's a humility about Ash that I find constantly humbling and grounding. I think about Ash and my inflated sense of self just drops the right amount to then fit into the rooms I need to walk into. Ash, you're exactly right. We are far too strong to be standing in our own way. Imagine if you kept beating yourself down. If you're the best damn rapper in the world and you keep diss-rapping yourself, you're going to stop being a decent rapper who's out in the world. So, imposter syndrome is about putting yourself in spaces where you know that you're allowed to be here. And that means that if you struggle with the idea that you're allowed to perform in your family living room, don't perform there. Perform in your bedroom. If you need to do it, like, hang on, I'll show you. Right here behind me, this is an IKEA wardrobe. Inside this IKEA wardrobe, I've got that's soundproofing. I'm so sorry for the shonky quality, but soundproofing foam so that I can record in there. And that was at a stage where I decided I'm not ready to be recording. I'm not ready to be loud enough in this whole room, but I've grown from out of that wardrobe into a much bigger space because I allowed myself permission and didn't get knocked down externally. So there's no one else calling me imposter, and slowly the version of me calling myself imposter is being deteriorated. Does that make sense, Ravel? Does that help a little bit? So practical steps we can take on that front. 1, hit up open mics. Honest to God, hit up any open mic you can find. Sign up anonymously, give a fake name. Doesn't matter, all right? But you need to go to places that are designed for exactly that. Now, Vibe Union, seriously, Ravel, if you're not up on Vibe Union, hang on, Instagram.com/ oh, of course you are. Hang on, that's the music I'm playing right now. And you know all about it. Vibe Union runs these live stream open mic nights, and they're amazing. They're open to everyone around the world, and you can go on, sign up with a fake name. I've done like 3 performances, not as myself, at my own shows. so that I can experiment with some material, be in a space where it's just safe. It's a positive, supportive environment. So open mics as a performer are massive. Two, upload music, put it on SoundCloud. Again, do it anonymously and just put it out into the world. The internet can be a harsh place, so maybe tread lightly with that one. But get yourself out there, take those steps into the world. Hey, Mati knows what's up. There we go. Amazing. I'm projecting. It's like I have another negative man in me who helps me to write rap, but also tells me I don't deserve to live my life, to be in my life. So this is amazing. Bless you, Minty. Thank you so much. That's really kind. I hope y'all are okay with a little bit of a delay on your comments. Just I wanna riff. Like these 3 hours, I'm in the just chatting chat. I wanna just chat with you. I wanna answer your questions. I wanna talk about my move to Pakistan. I can't wait to do it. And just another quick shout out as well. Muffins Mati, he's got that first icon there because he was the first person to subscribe to this channel once it became available. So after a certain point, an ad might kick in, and I really apologize. I'll try to give you a bit of a heads up so that we can do our stretches and go drink some water, stay hydrated, and take my own advice. And yeah, well, let's keep on task. So Ravel, open mics, online. Hey, Lisa, bless you. Yes, thank you. Much love. Thank you for being here. Hitting the highlights, by the way. Down the bottom, you'll see my little icon. That's the Who, which I want to talk to you all about, a little bit about branding and identity in a sec, and what that logo means. You're all very special to me, so I'm going to actually tell you the meaning of this otherwise very enigmatic logo that I've chosen as my icon since day one. Bear with me a second. All right, what a banger. This is Vibe Union. This is Interface, one of my absolute favorite tracks I've ever worked on. All right, so we've rounded out imposter syndrome. Ravel, if there's more you want to know about it, please hit me up. Either drop it in the chat. A chat, by the way, doesn't need to be a ping pong from y'all to me back out to you. Like, if you start talking to each other, like, I'm so about it. Like, this is beautiful. The community that we have here, the people that are getting connected here, feels amazing. My internet might be doing something weird right now. Let's pause this. Yo, I think I might have lost you all for a sec. Big 5 stars in the chat. Thank you, Lisa. Much love. All right, so imposter syndrome, Ravel, if you're feeling it, cool. All right, let's talk about what I'm doing right now. Let's talk about this big move in my life. I wanna chat about it. Let's make it happen, right? So we got these stars flying around. Thank you, Lisa. They're purple as well, which I dig. There we go. That's where my hand is. This is my. I'm gonna do one of these. So okay, let's talk about Pakistan. The short of it is, I started talking to an incredible human being, and with the intention of like, our parents want us to talk, just to see if, you know, her and I are a bit of a match, maybe, you know, thinking about marriage one day. And I didn't say no, I actually said yes, like, Mom, I'll make you happy, look, I'm trying. And we both, I think, went into it just kind of going, let's do this so we can tell our parents that we have tried the thing and we can move on. And yeah, absolutely, Minty, it's romance incarnate. Our parents thought it'd be nice to chat, so we started chatting, and try as we might, we couldn't make it fail. I think it was just that. It was too good to fail. It is too good to fail. And that feels pretty freaking amazing, man. Like, I've not been in a relationship where it just feels right from day one. You feel me? Like, that's never been the case in this way. And I appreciate that. Sharif in the chat, bless you, man. Thank you for being here. Thanks for rocking with me, man. It truly is. It feels like romance. It feels like pure hardwired love in this deep, profound, understanding kind of way. And it definitely helps. Our families have known each other for a long time. We go way back. Like, we knew each other in our childhood and have like been in each other's like social media, digital family story worlds, right? But never with intent, never with anything like, oh, this will be a thing one day. We started chatting, and I was like, hey, by the way, like, I'm also like this. I've also like lived here my whole life. You've lived in Pakistan your whole life. Culture shock much? And she was like, no, that's exciting to me. And I was like, okay, well, what about your shit? And she's like, and she says me some shit, and I'm like, that's really cool to me. I guess I kind of give off a pretty serious sort of vibe to most of the people around me, and that's partially by design. It's a bit of a defense mechanism. I as a kid, I used to cop jokes. I used to have an accent. I've spoken about it before. And when I came back from Pakistan after 2 years, kids made fun of me and they thought everything I did was funny. So it became actually really important to not be taken as funny as a joke as anything. So I became very serious, you know. And even when I started to change my voice, it became really important to be taken seriously in social circles. And humor and comedy started entering in much later in life, doing things like theater sports and improv and yeah, like that kind of stuff. Suddenly it was like, oh, cool. I'm coming in with all this ice that people need to break to get through to me. Maybe if I come in with some icebreakers, people will connect. And that was where I became this guy, Mash. Suddenly it's just Mash. You know, the way I introduced myself in my sales gig was like, oh, it's MASH, like the TV show without all the stars. Ah, I'm the only star you need. Like real cheesy, tacky kind of shit, but it would just break the ice, and it became something I became really good at. And in amongst it, I discovered the art of bullshit. I discovered the art of just having a bad, dumb yarn for like a hot minute. And that just became a thing that I liked doing, but I didn't really get to do much. And one day we were chatting and I was just, what was I? I was like riffing on some total nonsense. You know what? My character Shah Karim Bhitai comes from these chats. And I was just making up this story about a poet. And then I was just making up poetry in our traditional Sindhi. No matter how it comes about, the connection is connection, your intuition. Yeah, absolutely. I love your accent. Thank you. BS, absolutely. Bullshit is the best thing you can do. I think BSing is powerful. It's the ultimate demonstration that we as a species have made it. Not only are we utilizing speech, one of our most advanced tools as a species to like communicate advanced concepts in our minds, but we're now using it idly. We're like, I'm going to sit here and talk about why this shirt is made from the cocoons of butterflies harvested in underground tunnels here in Melbourne. And I can sit and talk on that for 20 straight minutes. Like, tell you what, if anyone subscribes or donates and you give me a topic, I'll riff on it for 3 straight minutes for you. No ums, no likes, just like as if it is real. Because I love BS so much. And I would bullshit with her. And she's straight up loving it. This is like a great time for her. There's no eye rolls. There's no judgment. It's just like, this is fun. And engaging in it and bantering for hours straight. And feeling seen. I just feel really seen in this relationship. And I haven't had that. Despite having this big fucking monitor and this camera and all these people. I don't feel seen as me. Oh, Minty, you cutie. Where was this? Where was this months ago? Bloody hell, I've nearly got one of these on. Too late now, Minty. Yeah, ship has sailed, mate. Plane is nearly boarded. Alright, so they say in films and stuff, when a character is eating, it's to take the edge off of the seriousness. It's a sign of casualness. Aw, Minty, you're good. So good. So very lovely times. By the way, just quickly, thank you to everyone that's here. Thank you for tuning in. If you've just tuned in, I'm just quickly sharing on the nature of the relationship I have with the person I intend to get married to pretty soon. And that was the initial reason. That was the initial reason for me to want to go over to Pakistan in the first place. Lisa, thank you so much. I'm happy for me, and I'm even happier that you're happy for me. So bless you. Sharif, you got a great question. Was it a connection I reckon I could have had with someone here? I had always hoped for it, and there have been times when I thought I had it, or I thought I had the closest possible thing to it, and I assumed that there was a need for compromise because the perfect relationship doesn't exist. That was the assumption in my mind. And everything else, not even just in relationships, like romantic relationships, in friendships, in business partnerships, in collaborations, everything felt like here's a compromise of sorts on quality, on price, on values, and how do I, like, this is where I'm really grateful for how my parents have taught me and raised me. How do I grow in my capacity to fill the gap, to make the compromise? And it would always felt like it was 60-40. It always felt like it was 70-30. And sometimes it felt like the other way. It felt like I was giving 10, they were giving 90. but it's because they really wanted something from me and I didn't necessarily want it, but I thought we just need to do that. That's not just in romantic relationships. So my assumption was I couldn't have that full depth of understanding that I am feeling now, and I'd idealized it and romanticized it, and maybe it was just gonna, pan out in a really nice kind of way, and a life built on compromise, and let's shave off our corners to understand one another and find this middle ground. And I was pretty okay with that. And it got to a point where at the start of this year, I kind of set, I was going to say I set an intention, but I don't think I did that. I prayed to God, the God of all things, the singular God, the God that governs how gravity works, and the God that makes lights turn on and off, and the God who made Elon Musk a billionaire and my family, in a state that they're in, and people around my family poorly destitute. The God of typhoons and the coronavirus, and the God of rainbows and angels. I prayed to God that this year be about clarity for me. 2020 was, 2020 vision, blah, 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 clear vision, all that kind of stuff. But I prayed that this year be about clarity. May the things that are not good for me become distant and feel distant, so that I can know in my heart that I don't need them anymore. And may the things that are good for me come ever closer, be right up in my face. And it just kind of kept tumbling in that direction. It just kind of kept going. And the more I pursued the things that felt right here in my face real, the better I felt my life coming in that direction. Things locking more and more into place. The further I veered away from things like prayer or even sobriety or things like that, if I had the occasional drink, I would feel way worse for it the next day than compared to, it had nothing to do with hangovers. It just felt like spiritual disconnect. And I'm realizing that now, that like each passing day that I'm not in that frame of mind and haven't been. Marty, bless you, man. Got a comment?
You'll be missed so much. But thank God we have the Twitch stream to still catch up with you. Also, did you know that a snail can sleep for 3 years straight?
What?
How crazy. Wow. Love the chat streams BTW.
BTW. Big love. Thank you, Mati, for checking in a donation. That's the kind of support, that's the kind of love where, bless. Mati, we've been like this, man. You've seen the whole Emkew story basically from the start. So bless you, man. Thank you for rocking with me. Double. Amazing. Thank you, man. So that's love, that's relationship. So Sharif, thank you for the question, man. I thought it wasn't necessarily possible for me here. And I figured I would get the closest thing to it and that would be fine. But there's something about being loved. There's an Alt J lyric. I want to bring up the track, but there's an Alt J lyric where it's just, I just want to love you in my own language. And I've had that running in my head for the last 2-3 months. Just those words, that phrase sung that way with these beautiful harmonies that my brain overlays. And it just feels amazing. It feels amazing to say I love you in Sindhi, in my own native tongue, and to hear my name in my own language. And I don't know, I just feel really good. I feel really excited. I feel really strongly positive about it. So Sharif, thanks, man. I don't know if that does anything for you and what you're looking for in your life, but I feel like this is it, man. I can't look back. Like it doesn't make sense. Like I've permanently moved forward in a way of experiencing love that I can't look back on. And I wouldn't have gotten to here, mind you, I would never have gotten to here if not for the other relationships that were themselves a permanent shift up in what love is. But I know I can never go back. Like if I mess up something, and that's honestly now my biggest fear is I mess up in a way that I have to compromise and I have to go back, and I don't get to have this thing permanently in my life, and that scares the crap out of me. So I'm just gonna not fuck up. If that were to ever happen, I would just be lost. Like that would be it. Like there would be no love that could consume me in the way that this has. So that's me on love. Yeah, what else we got? I think we all wish we could feel those things. Thank you for sharing. Absolutely, Lisa. This comes back to imposter syndrome. Oh, Ravel, please, man. I know you close to it. Talha Anjum, Talha Yunus, man. I'm already looking for them. HRB in Hyderabad, like that's my city where I'm gonna be. If you guys, if anyone knows of any Pakistani rappers, please send them my way. Send me their Instagram DMs. I literally spent a whole day on Instagram looking for. Hey, yeah, Mati, I like that idea. What we'll do at some point, Twitch is gonna make me play an ad. So during that ad and around it, I'm just gonna chuck on some Pakistani rap songs, and then we can just start vibing out and feeling it. I hope that's cool with y'all. I want to get into a spirit of actually taking short breaks, not just for the ad side of things, though I want to build that up. Obviously, I want this channel to be like to work for me in a way that is financially rewarding as well as energetically rewarding. Because right now, energetically, emotionally, it's beautiful. Rap Demon. Okay, I've seen this name, Rap Demon. Bless. Ravel, any particular song of Rap Demons? Because if you got a Rap Demon song, I'd love to chuck it on at the first break that we're meant to hit. And if that's cool with y'all, we'll do that in a bit. Gauntlet 2.0 is legend. Okay, Gauntlet 2.0. Gauntlet 2.0. Sick. Hey, Spike Leo in the chat, folks. Listen, hang on. Now it's time. Spike, I did this just for you, bro. Boom.
Oh no!
Mwah.
Victory!
So anyway, that's just really exciting to me. I found this, dude, bro. I found this thing on like eBay or something like that, ages ago, and it was sitting in this cupboard, and I was clearing it out to like hand out instruments and stuff to people in the time I'm gone, and I was like, oh, this is the thing. This is a very knockoff version of what Spike uses, but bless, man. I'm glad you dig. It's like Ice Cube, no Vaseline. Okay, cool. Is that a description? Oh, no, that's the name of his diss track, ain't it? Amazing. So, Pakistan, I'll quickly touch on this, right? So what started as, I'm going over there probably for a period of about 3 months to get sort of the marriage thing rolling, and then maybe spend some time and then just like jet back here, because like I got too much shit going on, was the mantra. If it work, that's it. Spike knows. And then basically the day I set the intention, the day I prayed that like let there be an easy path for me to go to Pakistan, I connected up with the people from Gem Beats and Gem Connect, and they were at Kairos Festival. So shouts out to Kairos fam, shouts out to Gem fam. If you're like part of the Gem team, please drop a comment. Thank you anyway. Bless. Anjay and that team are incredible. They're doing great things. Turns out they run programs on emotional well-being, creativity and expression through music especially, and what's the other component? There's like a technology component. They're trying to find new technological interventions that you don't need to dose yourself with chemicals to fix your mental. You can listen to music that's going to start generating and triggering some healing in your life. And I've started using it, by the way, and it's amazing. I can't wait to share it with y'all in a cool kind of way, and we're working on that right now. But it turns out that they're doing all these really cool things that I believe in, and they're doing them in Pakistan. They're doing them in Pakistan and in Helsinki. Sydney, Helsinki, and Pakistan. Specifically Karachi, which is a city that I will fly into and is an hour and a half away from my hometown. So it turns out that they're doing that, and they're in a bit of a conundrum right this minute. They don't have someone based in Karachi to help roll out their programs. They don't have someone who has a connection to Western ideations of mental health and well-being. They don't have someone who's in the music industry, who understands a bit of music production, who is trying to build music networks, has done some workshop facilitation experience. Hey, Haris, bro, thank you, man. I appreciate you, silly boy in the chat. Music is the ultimate healer. Lisa is exactly right. And Gem Connect are onto this. And I'll chat about it a little bit later. I'm going to make a note here. Gem Beats. Because it's some freaking cool technology. They are missing... Their one missing piece for their operations to become global in a meaningful way is someone who's fluent in English, workshop facilitation experience, musical background, networking, like good with people, good chat, in Pakistan. And I'm just mentally clocking that I might want to go to Pakistan, and maybe for an extended period of time. So lo and behold, 2 days after Kairos Festival, we're having mad chats, voice notes, like 10 of them back and forth. And I'm sitting there like, I haven't even thought this through, but suddenly Pakistan doors are opening wide. Right? Right? And this is where, like, Lisa, absolutely, the stars feel like they're aligning for me. And I can't shake this feeling that, again, the closer I'm getting towards the things that are being presented to me as right, when my heart leaps out of my chest to go and engage with this thing, whether it was Kairos, whether it was Vibe Union right from the start, man, to chat with this beautiful human being and connect romantically so gorgeously. The more I'm pursuing these, the more doors keep opening. And these doors, mind you, have always been there. If I'd went looking and decided a year ago I wanted to go to Pakistan, this opportunity would have been just as equally valid then. But it wasn't until I started on this journey that these pieces started aligning in this beautiful way. So I'm just in this place where the momentum is wrenching me forward. It's I used to think of my life kind of like Tarzan swinging from, rope to rope. Great hooks. Hey, bless Ivory. Thank you. Yeah. Absolutely. I feel that, right? So I'm being matched, and it's crazy because listening to Anjay from Gem talk about stuff, it's like I'm looking in a mirror. Like Anjay has this like boom and readiness and gesticulation, and she's like advanced. She's like, I'm taking a masterclass from her on how to talk into the camera and like how to engage a digital virtual audience, how to just share energy. Like, I would say I'm pretty good at this. It's why we're here. It's why y'all are tuning in, and I fucking love all of you for it. She's like 13 notches above me. And so that same thing, I'm being matched and being met on this energy where I just go, sweet, I've got this person that I can connect with and learn from. And that feels nuts. That feels crazy for me. So in terms of what to do in Pakistan, when I'm going, by the way, Saturday, the 23rd of October, so that'll happen next week. And that's the plan. If anyone knows anyone at DFAT or whatever, whoever's deciding the travel exemptions, whatever, travel restriction exemptions, please put in a good word for me, because that's the only thing that's left. Like, I've prayed to God, and now we still got to make it happen on this earth. Yo, Kelsey, bless. Kelsey in the building. Kelsey Jean. It's a beautiful thing you're doing. Thank you. And on the road of expansion, Ivory, absolutely. I love you to pieces because you get it. There's this common vocab that we share, and it feels amazing to in the same way, to feel seen, to feel connected on that spiritual tip. So I'm going to Pakistan on Saturday, the 23rd of October. What started as initially like an arranged marriage type thing has very much blossomed into, I need to be in the same place as this person. I know I need to be married to this person. There are layers of serendipity making this happen in a beautiful way. And then just as I'm thinking, okay, it's not just about the marriage, it's about reconnecting back home in a professional way. It's about building on the work I've been doing here for the last 2 years and taking that up a notch. Opportunities just presented themselves to do that. And suddenly I'm finding myself in this place driven. And mind you, there's more elements. There's the family element. There's the element of like really rapidly expanding on how I perceive art. And I want to come back and touch on those two things a little bit later. But what we're going to do now, thank you for sticking with it for a minute, is let's chuck on the track that Ravel said. Right back at you. Bless. Ravel said Rap Demon, and what was it? Gauntlet 2.0. So we're going to chuck this on. We're going to take a little break. Final nail in the coffin. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screen share. In the middle of this, Caterpillar saying Mubaraku. I want to say I'm going to miss you, but you're going to be right here. I'm going to be right here. We're going to be doing this. So what we're going to do, I'm going to chuck on this track for a little bit. We're going to vibe with it for a little bit. I'm going to roll an ad in the middle for like 30 seconds. We'll come right back and the track will continue. It's 6 minutes of diss track, by the way, so we ain't going nowhere. Boom. Let's have a listen. Yo, Muffins Matty. Yeah, let's leave that up on screen. Man's been throwing in the money. Josh, yeah, appreciate. Oh, yes, Deepak. Yes, bless. No worries. Can watch it later. Thanks for sharing. I appreciate you. Rishta, by the way, for the uninitiated, Rishta means the arrangement or the betrothal, if you will. I once used that word in like an essay because I read it in some medieval fiction thing. And they were like, who says betrothal? I was like, 13th century England, and I guess Yeah, thank you, Deepak. I appreciate you. The whole situation is amazing. Wishing you all the best and hoping this all works out. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ash. I appreciate that. Deepak, thanks for dropping by. By the way, Deepak does a little something called the Humanism Project, and you're probably going to see a little bit of a write-up from even today's stream, but overall, my journey is going to be pretty intrinsically shared with what they're trying to do as well. It's taking us away from borders and such. But all right, let's do it. Let's fly into this. This is Rap Demon Gauntlet 2.0. This is Pakistani rap, perhaps at its finest, suggested by Ravel. Ravel, thank you for this. Let's tune in.
यार बहुत सुकून से बैठा था, मैं चुप था, पर इन लोगों ने मांगा यार, हाथ फिला फिला के मांगा, देना तो बनता है। तुझे नहीं मैं देने वाला 6 मिनट 30 सेकंड, बेटे तेरा 20 सेकंड बहुत है। चल ये ले 2 मिनट टन गिना तन्ने वो बार्स के बाद तू फौत है। हुआ खौफ तारी इनबॉक्स भारी बेटे, तेरी 1.5 शाना पंती लगागी तेरे साले, करेगा तू याद उंगल उस्ताद, तेरी हरकत को पैर पे कुल्हाड़ी कहते। I'm the devil तेरी कांड मेरा पिच फॉक खोले, रैप की नमा ये साले टिकटॉक खोले। Eminem बोहेमिया को देखे रैप शुरू और यही बेटे कुल तेरी हिप हॉप नॉलेज। लुली से भी छोटी तेरी खोपड़ी है, ये मुझे बोला था पढ़ाई तुझे रोक रही है। तो लड़कियां कानों में तू करे बॉडी शेम, तेरी जाहिलियत काफी ज्यादा भौंक रही है। मैं एक टेक्सकोप जैसा फोकस ब्रो, हेडशॉट्स ब्लो करे ब्रो सर जो। टिक टैक टो नहीं है सिट बैक होम, cause your bitch ass jokes got me click clack po। SKD तेरी खूब चाट लेगा, SMD ये फ्रूट चाट बेटा मेरा रैप क्लाउड 9 तेरा फुटपाथ बैठा तेरा बाप रो सोचे काश मुठ मार लेता। आवाजें भारी बातों में वजन नहीं, हिप हॉप अवाम को होता तू हसन नहीं। हमसे ये कैसा गिला है भैन के तू तो तेरी सगी माँ को भी पसंद नहीं। असर नहीं होता कोई शर्म नहीं, बेफजूल के भरम नहीं। तू बोले अरे नहीं नादिर के पास कोई मरहम नहीं। चरसी ने भेजा दर्जी की दुकान, इस बार से लेने का नहीं इम्कान। मुतमईन साले तेरा ही तो शौक था, ऐसे ही तो होते उंगल के अंजाम। भीमन का सीन कुछ वायरस सा फैला, तुझे क्यों लगा कि तू साले पहला कर एहसास क्या तेरी औकात, तेरा जो टट्टा वो थैले का थैला। ये बोला I wanna follow the prophet, मैं नहीं बना चाहता कोई टूपाक, तो फिर साले बोलना ये किधर से सीखा तू औरतों के जिस्मों की करनी यूं बात। ज्यादा नहीं दूर तेरा आएगा जवाल, यहाँ सब जाने चलता नहीं चाइना का माल। भाई ने कमाल दे दिया आइंदा मिसाल, और आइंदा के बाद नहीं उठाएंगे सवाल। बेटा आएंगे अटैक मेरे फैन ने संभाल, तेरी चीन की आर्मी मनाएगी मलाल। भाई जिम्मेदार भाई ने दी मार, 2:30 बजे माई तेरी ढूंढे तुझे बाहर। 52 बार्स मैंने अभी गिने, इतनी सी देर में you know who's winning। बोला था मैंने पर रुका नहीं जा रहा, ये लो भाई हो गए ना पूरे 2 मिनट पीने। चल साइड हो तेरी मेन हो बैठी हाई जोन, लोग कहते तेरे भाई को साइको, छोटे तू है मैं अकेला खा काय को। I don't know if you know मैं तेरा वालिद, तेरे फ्लोर तेरे दोस्त को है फालिज। मैं और मेरे ब्रोस करें करियर्स क्लोज, कहाँ से रोज आती ना जाए सुलाते। यार तुम्हें वाकई में लगा था मैं 2 मिनट पे जाके रुक जाऊंगा। इतना ही जानते हो भाई को। फराजत यार ये वाली रोक।
Yo, I'm gonna run it back a little bit
तू बजा
and roll an ad. Oh, beat switch. All right, hang on. Let's go back to it.
बहुत थी, लेकिन
Let's take a break, yo. We're not ready.
यहाँ सब जाने चलता नहीं चाइना का माल। भाई ने कमाल दे दिया आइंदा मिसाल, और आइंदा के बाद नहीं उठाएंगे सवाल। बेटा आएंगे अटैक मेरे फैन ने संभाल, तेरी चीन की आर्मी मनाएगी मलाल। भाई जिम्मेदार भाई ने दी मार, 2:30 बजे माई तेरी ढूंढे तुझे बाहर। 52 बार्स मैंने अभी गिने, इतनी सी देर में you know who's winning। बोला था मैंने पर रुका नहीं जा रहा, ये लो भाई हो गए ना पूरे 2 मिनट पीने। चल साइड हो तेरी मेन हो बैठी हाई जोन, लोग कहते तेरे भाई को साइको, छोटे तू है मैं अकेला खा काय को। I don't know if you know मैं तेरा वालिद, तेरे फ्लोर तेरे दोस्त को है फालिज। मैं और मेरे ब्रोस करें करियर्स क्लोज, कहाँ से रोज आती ना जाए सुलाते। यार तुम्हें वाकई में लगा था मैं 2 मिनट पे जाके रुक जाऊंगा। इतना ही जानते हो भाई को। फराजत यार ये वाली रोक। उमर तू बजा। जानी 2 मिनट क्या तेरे लिए 2 स्टोरीज बहुत थी, लेकिन ये मेरे लोगों के लिए है, वो मुझसे एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं। यार नॉस्टैल्जिक फीलिंग है बहन चोद, आखिरी साल भी यही टाइम था, उसका प्री एनिवर्सरी गिफ्ट तू रख ले। मुझे ढूंढ रही अवाम जैसे तालिबान, जानी गुस्से के मैं फटूं लाइक अ तालिबान। उससे बात भी है प्यार सब जाने नाम, everybody knows I know how to shut it down। बोला मैंने 16 बारी खोले नहीं कान, गोला बारी बहुत भारी चुक लो दुकान। थोड़ा थोड़ा तारी कप कांप मेरी जान सुपरसोनिक फ्लो में मैं ले रहा तेरी उठता मैं रोज होता जंग का मैदान तू साले चोता रे घंटा गयान हिप हॉप में बॉर्डर नहीं कोशिश नाकाम लंड साले एक माने तू और पठान तकिया कलाम मेरा कत्ल पे कत्ल तू बैठा मारी जा चवल पे चवल लोग होते जा रहे हैं कल्चर से वाकिफ और तेरी अवाम जो खच्चर की खच्चर पीता तो तू भी है बोलने का पानी नहीं पर जितनी पीता तू घोटने का साबी नहीं काबिल नहीं लफ्जों के मेरे को ये एक भी पेश की तूने मांगी थी बाजी ने अभी तो कसम से हल्के में आ रहा डरता ही जा रहा तू तरस में खा रहा हिप हॉप के सीन में अपना तू चेला चल घुटनों पे बैठ मैं कल्चर से खा रहा खुदारा की कोशिश I was impatient फाड़ के ऐस बोलूं assassination कत्ल को कैश call me the Satan चाइना के छक्के ओवर के made it कभी नहीं सड़ा I'm straight for the culture लोग हिप हॉप ना समझे वो चढ़ मैंने तो सुना था हरकत में बरकत पर तेरी हर हरकत महज एक सरदर्द सर को ना ऐसे तू पीटा कर बाहर की तरफ को जीवा कर सन्नी को बोल के टेस्ट करे बाद में खुद ही के पहले जा जबड़ा तो सीधा वर थ्रू में I know they all wanna shoot me bulletproof बैठा मैं बूथ में सालों के ये साले नूब है lyrical methamphetamine से तू नशे भरता है जैसी पिगमैन भाई तेरा हाइजेनबर्ग रेफरेंस समझते लगेगी थोड़ी देर तब तक तू इंस्टा पे बैठ के बातें कर चांटे दर गाना ये होना खफा नहीं तूने की कैंसर लफा ये पिलाने व्यूज के लिए मैं बोला कोलैब का हिप हॉप की लुगत में तेरी जगह नहीं मेरा तो फैन था you said it all बोला कोलैब का खुद पे मैं लॉल था तो मैं रैपर जागी फिर गैरत फिर क्या फिर तेरी उठाई नहीं कॉल दुनिया में पूरी एक फैली है दहशत कौमों पे चल रही है कैसी वो वहशत बात जो मुंह पे हमें एहसास नहीं डिसमिस में लगे हम कैसे बेगैरत खैरत तू बोला तभी तो चीरी है चढ़ेगा कैसे तू सांप पे सीढ़ी पे कीड़ी से लगे ये जहां से देखूं ग्रैंडडी पर्प हम चलते नहीं पीढ़ी पे ईदी में मेरे से तूने क्या ले लिया चरिया खुद को तू बोलता रे भेड़िया डिस वो ही अच्छी जिसमें नहीं गाली पैन शो ये कौन सा हिप हॉप क्राइटेरिया हमारे तेरे अबाब भी साले या बॉर्डर दे पार भी लाहौर से लेके कराची फिर दिल्ली फिर मुंबई से इसू की वापसी What the fuck जानी रुकने वाला सीन ही कोई नहीं है आज ठीक है हॉलीडे है आहिस्ता आहिस्ता समझ रहे ना तू खुश नसीब है इधर रैपर मेरे रिप्लाई के चक्कर में 6 डिसे बना देते हैं मैं रिप्लाई नहीं देता खुद को तू खुशकिस्मत समझ आखिरी कील ठोकते हैं फरासत जानी आने दे पेशे खिदमत है तीसरा धमाका केड़ा रैप गॉड ये है इबलीस का इलाका जो भी मैंने आया था तू इस वाले सीन में हिप हॉप फैंस बोले तेरा मेरा दीन में सारे जानते अपना तो यही है तरस के जो मांगता तो दे देते हम सही से नाम तेरा चाओ पाओ नी हाउ लन खाओ तेरे लगा ले मंगवाया है दुबई से करे मिल के मैं गन थले चढ़ा लिरिकल सोर्सेज समझा तेरे जिन्हें कटा बिस्की तू उठा ले हिस्ट्री तुझसे पहले भी पाल चुके मिक्स ब्रीड जिस चीज का तू कर रहा है ऐलान उसे लड़ने का पास तेरे नहीं है सामान आते बारी बारी तेरे बाप समान हैशटैग जी का तमाम फील देते देखे बिना चीर देते क्या के लेना रील डील उड़ता ये तीर लेते उड़ते को ढील दे के लगे हाथ काट दे पीर तेरे आ चुके बैठे तराम से ईमान से तू छोड़ तेरी बात नहीं बनी बना मैं फजूल खर्च आनो था मिस मनी बॉर्डर के इस पार बॉर्डर के उस पार एक ही काम में मशहूर दोनों सनी अब ना सुनाई देता हने 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 अब ना सुनाई देंगे ये भी छन छने अब ना दिखाई देंगे मंजर याम पे अपनी ही दुनिया में रैप गॉड बने क्वालिटी और क्वांटिटी में बहुत ज्यादा फर्क है मेरे लाख के भी आगे तेरा मिल गर्क है बहुत नहीं पूछेगी कि तेरे कैसे व्यूज थे पीले जानी गर्दा होने वाला दर्द है
That's chat. What just happened? What did we just see happen? We saw that, right? We're all in the same place. We saw that. That's craziness. Hey, quickly, did an ad actually run? Can someone let me know? Because that was my first time ever clicking the ad button. And I wonder if maybe I actually clicked the give me an ad in 5 minutes button. So if nothing ran, it's kind of awkward because something says it's going to run in 3 minutes. But what was that? Ravel, bro, are you there, man? Let's do one of these. Bro, Ravel, you just did this.
Victory! Oh no!
Amazing. Craziness. So if that's Ravel, bless, man. Thank you. All right, cool. Now I know. That's the standard. That's what I gotta make my baseline when I get there, and then just kill it more than that. Easy. That's how I think about it. So yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Rap Demon. For someone, okay. So Rap Demon. Let's talk about it. Eminem and MGK had this rap battle a few years back, right? And they would just sort of go back and forth. And MGK, this rapper, this sort of Eminem wannabe, or more or less in a sense, he Eminem was calling himself Rap God, so MGK comes out with these ones, and he's like, I'm the rap demon, like all this kind of thing. And I guess this guy just decided like he can call himself that, and that's what he's done. By the way, that track, we lost a few people, but worth it. So you're still rocking with it. I appreciate you. But MGK is a joke clown is very valid. That was a promo run. Let's be honest. That whole thing with Eminem was a promo run because he suddenly appeared in like 2 Netflix movies, which was a big deal for him. Started dating Megan Fox. And did this whole flip. It was like that was the last thing he did in rap, and then he switched over to this like punk rap kind of acoustic thing, which is really sweet. He's made some great music. Demon, yeah, bro, Rap Demon is nuts, man. So that is the environment, that is the level of music that I'm about to walk into. So I'm very excited to check that out. So that's Pakistan. I said on the other side of it, we'll have a mad chat. We'll do a break. But it seems that we need to let another ad run, or maybe one ad run. I don't know if there's been an ad. This is new territory for me, so I appreciate your patience with all this stuff. I know last week I messed up by trying to raid Landmark's channel, and people didn't come back. And for the people that did, I really appreciate you. Thank you for coming back. Aisha dropped Indian now. I appreciate you, man. I'll keep checking this out. Broda v Shukwan. I want to chat today. I want to talk about some stuff. I want to share some stories. I want to answer some questions. I'm down to listen to this music, and maybe I'll do a different React channel, different React show in particular. But here we go. So, folks, please let me know before I click this button. Who else is here rocking with me? When I last said that we were going to an ad break, did an ad run? That's my question. Let me know, because if it did, then I don't need to go to an ad break. But if it didn't, then I need to do that. Otherwise, it's gonna force some shit on me. Let me know. Let me cross off what we've talked about today. Imposter. No, here, hang on. So this is the next one. Weird/identity. Yes, it ran. Jason, thank you. Bless you. I appreciate you. Cool. No ad. Let's keep rolling. Thanks, Insta. Come join Twitch. All right. So the ad ran. What was it for, by the way? I'm so curious. Let me know, because I didn't see it. I just kept seeing my console. Thanks, Ravel. I just saw my console back here. Was it like even remotely relevant? I would love if it was an ad for Bogdan nutritional powdered goat milk. How crazy is that? I don't need to make fake ads anymore. I mean, I still will. They'll be fun. But Jason. Can we get Bogdan at Talking Blue? Think about it. Chocolate milk or some shit. Amazing. All right, cool. No more ads for now. Let's move on. What are we talking about? Pakistan. What did I say? Family? Hey, Laura, what's going on? Laura, I'm hanging out on Twitch. If you want to hit the link in my bio, come have a chat. I'm leaving Australia. I'm talking all about it over here. Or it can be a much more one way. Yeah, I'm leaving. Family, and what was the other thing? Art, next level. Sweet. Bogdan is acceptable. Thank you, Jason. All right, let's talk about family. I've spent the last 20 years of my life getting further and further away from my roots and my identity as a Pakistani, as a Muslim even, right? Halloween Kills. All right, I'll note that down. Halloween Kills as a movie. Man, Ravel, we gotta hang out, man. Gotta hang out and watch this stuff, listen to this music. I appreciate you. Thank you, man. What I might do is I might switch a man, Twitch is talking to me in a language I don't understand anymore. But I'm sorry, Laura. Okay, so family. So when I was 9, we moved back to Australia. I had this thick accent. I got made fun of for it. So I was like, I'm going to change my accent. And then over successive years, school camp, I have to stand in a different line and get different food. There was a whole thing. So coming from a Muslim background, there's a lot of modesty around like sex and sexuality. And so, you know, every time a scene came on, like if Ross and Rachel kissed on Friends, Mum would like block her eyes, change the channel, like move on, you know? And not to say either way is right or wrong, but that just became a thing. And so there was this incident when we were watching A Knight's Tale in year 7 or year 8 in high school. I was at a very Anglo school, right? I was there on a scholarship. I was the only... No, there was one other brown kid. And the first thing I asked him when we started chatting, I looked around. I was like, there's all these white kids. So I asked him, I was like, you also here on a scholarship, dude? He was like, no. You on a scholarship? You one of them smart kids? I was like, yep, cool. So the only other guy that looks like me, and he's already told me that I'm different from him. Cool. So I'm at this school. I'm in a very different, alien space, right? I look around. No one looks like me except the kid who doesn't think like me. And that was tough. And so we're watching A Knight's Tale, and there was a scene. I remember, so it was one of those DVDs up in the corner. And there's a sex scene between Keira Knightley and, I want to say Heath Ledger. Is Heath Ledger's in A Knight's Tale, right? And there's a sex scene on. And I'm sat there in the front row getting very uncomfortable. Because this is a lot more skin than I've ever seen. This is more than Ross and Rachel friendly hugging. After a point, I looked around. Everyone's giggling and snickering, and we're not meant to be watching this. And I know how DVDs work. I know if I go press the triangle, line button, it's going to go straight past that bit and just go straight to the bit where the people stop friendly hugging. So I got up and I pressed that button, and sure enough, it caught the last 1 second where there's just a bit of skin and orange light. Hey, bless. Laura, thank you. Mwah. Thanks for being here, Laura. I appreciate you. By the way, folks, Laura, total legend. That dancing you're just seeing there, nothing on what Laura is capable of. If you're not already around, yo, thank you everyone that's here. Come check out the Twitch stream. I really appreciate you all for being here, but I promise you're gonna get much better vibes because I'm not doing any typing today. Come hit the link in my bio and we'll hang out there. I pressed the button. It skipped to the next scene. It did all the things I expected it to. I sat down and my face is hot. I'm so like out of sorts with how confronting it was, not only to watch that, but then to like have done that in front of my friends. I like wasn't looking at anyone. I sat back down and we skipped it. And then after class, the teacher pulled me up and asked me like, why did you do that? And I was like, what do you mean? We're all 13-year-olds. The box is MA 15 plus. Why are we watching this? And then 2, surely we're not meant to have watched that. Surely that was like not something that we should be watching. And he was like, yeah, but that's not your call. That's not your decision to make. That's not in keeping with what we're doing here. That, you know, we could have missed something in that. Like, missed what? Even now at 30, I'm like, there was no story exposition. There was no character growth or development. What? While they're cuddling, she's gonna be like, oh, Arthur, you are the one who's going to pull the sword from the stone, or whatever it was. No, of course not. But it was that kind of stuff that I kept getting told, this is not you. This is not who you are. This is not who you're meant to be in these spaces. You got to compromise. And suddenly I got to start doing some imposter shit. I thought I was just being me. And I thought I was doing something that was right. Like, that's what my parents have taught me is right. Like, you see that kind of shit on screen. You don't need that. That's filth. Move on. Moral judgments. And over time, hey, Maya. Hey, Trish, what's going on? Hey, Trish, come hang out on Twitch. Trish on Twitch? Yeah. Let's kick it. It's going to be a good time. They played Harry Potter to my kids in year 2, and all the kids cried. It was so scary. Mr. No-No's. Oh, my God, right? Absolutely. In year 2. Think about it. Think about what you're doing. You don't just ride a fad. Don't just ride a wave. And if you're going to do it, like, be sensitive to the stuff that's being consumed. Nowadays, like, TikTok is flooded with this shit for exactly that reason. Like, if the normal day-to-day grown-ups aren't telling you that this is stuff that you probably aren't supposed to be exposed to at such an early age, your brain's still developing a concept of sexuality, a concept of what your body is doing, what your body's meant to look like. Keira Knightley on screen is going to make a bunch of like girls whose bodies are forming in different ways feel very self-conscious about why their bodies don't look like that, and they'll never get a Heath Ledger as a result. Jason, yes it is. Medieval sexy talk, baby. I mean, maybe it's an invitation like, get the fuck out of it. Can you pull that sword out of the stone, please and thanks? Like, I'm done. So actually, I haven't told that story like ever. That was just a thing that happened. There was a letter sent home. I told the story to my parents, and my parents were like, "Good job, keep doing that." I'm like, "Cool, I will." But over time, so that was in 2006, right? So 97 to 99, I lived in Pakistan, and then I came here. And over the course of my life, like my cultural connection, my moral, my values, my compass, all this kind of stuff has just slowly shifted, right? And from one perspective, it's degraded. From another, I've shifted. I've become quite morally like relative in a sense. Hey, how's it going, Trish? But I'm realizing now that those judgments never actually went away. They never shifted, right? They never. I still think that showing naked women, naked anyone, to be perfectly honest, naked anyone on screens for young people to look at is wrong on multiple levels for multiple reasons. Least of all, just pure pornography and the incitement of lust, right? Let's put it that way. But on top of that, like we know that kids have body image issues. We know that like kids are trying to contextualize themselves and understand behaviors that they can, should, or would be engaging in. You show two 28-year-olds having sex and tell them that they're teenagers, the teenager's going to think like that's something that they're meant to be doing. And in theory, we think that it's kind of wrong for teenagers to be engaging in sexual behavior, right? So why are we okay with that being screened and shared and shown in those contexts? So those moral judgments never went away. And to be perfectly honest, I've been in environments, I've been in contexts where I've said shit that sounds really judgy. And if I've made you feel judged about the kind of shit that I've said, I'm sorry. I try and make sure that I'm not judging you. I'm talking about the action itself. And there's underlying reasons that I've been taught. And I'm realizing now that like that never went away. I just kind of came into great conflict with the person who I am and who I was raised to be, and kind of what's hardwired in DNA, like genetic. You know, if you can talk about genetic trauma, I also want to talk about genetic triumph. I want to talk about genetic strength, like generational trauma and triumph and strength. Mariam, bless. Thank you for joining in. If you can hit that follow button, the love heart down below. But yeah, I'm going to Pakistan, and I am going to go reconnect with family. This last little bit has been a very long-winded chat about what family has kind of come to mean to me of late, especially. But yeah, I'm going partially to get married. Hopefully, fingers crossed. You know, if it all goes well, if I pass the interviews, because they're right interviews. Jav, I appreciate you, man. You get it. Thank you for being here. Thanks for rocking with me, man. Don't understand. Kids are more sensitive to living things. People need to treat them carefully. Absolutely. Yes, Laura, thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely. I just realized you're joining late as well. Thank you for everyone. Quick recap. I'm going to Pakistan. Probably going to get married. It's going to be dope. I've linked up with a group called Gem Connect who are doing amazing things in the mental health, youth empowerment, expression and creativity spaces, technical and technological sound-based interventions to mental health, unwell-being or illness. And I'm going to be working with them while I'm there. So there's a long-term project and there's some cool new shit that I really want to share with you all that's coming at the end of this chat. Thank you, Laura. I really appreciate you. So yeah, Mariam, Marrakane, that's what's going on. So without sounding preachy or anything, like I never lost that sense of what is right or wrong. I never shifted from those things. I just became okay with compromising on them because I thought I needed to. I thought that if this is my home now, I've always kind of said like Melbourne is the closest thing to home that I have. My song Third Culture, in case, shouts out if you've heard it. Kels, whoa! Kelly? Holy shit! What's up? Be free and find joy. Thank you so much, Mariam. I appreciate that. And it's a new beginning that is not like, I said the words clean slate to someone the other day and immediately was like, no, bring it back. Like, bring it back. This is not a reset. This is not a burn one ID and write a new one. Like, this is a continuation of a journey for me. Like, I'm at 30. I just turned 30 and it was a lot going on in the year leading up to 30. But it's become really important to me to reconnect with those values that are entrenched in me and appreciate that they were there for a reason. They've always been there, and that's really powerful to me. But I feel you. Shouts out to all my Third Culture kids. Shouts out to everyone who grew up here or in the US or just in a place other than their parents. Absolutely. Yo, picnic actually, speaking of which, Saturday, Edinburgh Gardens, Rotunda, 12 p.m. to whenever. The details, please hit me up. Just drop me a DM. I'll send you the details. I'm going to be hanging out in this park for these hours. And if I happen to bump into people and we get to say goodbye, awesome. But it's not a party. I'm not inviting people to be there at that time and break COVID restrictions. No, that's bad. But that's where I'm going to be spending some time on Saturday in quiet reflection and pondering on times that have been. And if I happen to sort of bump into people at that time in that place, then what a happy little coincidence. Yo, GT, I appreciate you. You absolutely can kiss me. Come on over to Twitch. Let's hang out. Let's have mad chats on Twitch. So teaching till 1 p.m. but after that, absolutely, please come and share the air with me. The air is rarefied. It's a fine time. So it's really big for me to be going back and reconnecting with family, reconnecting with those values, because they give me such a strong sense of self and they give me a strong direction when I have done things. And I have done things and I don't shy away from this, but I know that they're not the right things that I've done. Say taking a sip of a beer or something like that. I actually get this like mental image, this feeling of like ancestors and present day relatives just doing these ones, you know? Hey, here for the kiss. GT Rose, bless you. By the way, GT Rose, did you hear back from Stream Spurt? Because I think that's how we connected, right? Probably not. If they worked, my stream would be doing better. But you know what? My stream is peaking because all of these gorgeous people are here right now. Thank you. Actually, hang on. I can give you one of these ones. I can do one of these ones.
Oh no!
No, that's not it. There we go. There we go. Boom. This ad long. Wait, is there an ad playing? Please tell me there's no ad playing right now. I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry. I'm also mentally frazzled because I love multi-phase conversations. So we're going back to hang out with family. We're going back to be around that environment. And there's a lot going on in my family. Like my uncle has a farm and a law firm. Farm and firm, firm and farm. Right? Amazing times. Yo, Sam, what's up? Come hit it on Twitch. So there's family farm work going on. Stanley Stairs is 8th most deadly killer. Why? Because people treat him like animal in the Halloween night. He there. No one go. Why? There we go. There was when I joined. Oh, okay. Oh, right. There was an ad kicking on for you. Right, so maybe for dropping in, there's like a pre-roll ad thing going on or something. Yeah, I appreciate you for sticking through it. Thank you. So reconnecting with family is really important to me. And I'm very excited. And, okay, let's talk about the interview thing. Where are we, folks? By the way, how are we all feeling? Do we want to take a second? Do you want a breather? Do you want to hear a story about the interview process of getting married? Because I'd like to talk about that. But maybe we just need a quick pause. I mean, I kind of need to pee. I was just playing Friday the 13th. Amazing. I kind of need to pee. Can y'all bear with me a sec while I go pee? I'm hoping I'll be able to reconnect with my family in Queensland, but who knows with borders? Absolutely. If y'all can bear with me like a minute, I'm going to run an ad so then that way I don't have to do it for a whole hour again. I just really need to pee. I love you all. Please stick around with me on the other side. Yes, come and see me, Ravel. Come to Pakistan. All right, folks. 30 seconds. Don't even go anywhere. I just need to pee and make 0.003 cents, aka 0.50 zeros, and then 3 Bitcoin because that's the new economy. Boom.
breaks, no longer mine, no longer fine. Yeah, I am no longer fine.
What state, I'm in a state, yeah. What state, I'm in a state,
Yeah.
What state, I'm in a state. Yeah.
Yeah. Maintain my main claim to maintain my body.
Pulling strings, or is my side getting foggy?
I'm torn between forms like ghost in a shell.
Can't see a way out of this skin cell.
Online or offline, I can't even tell.
Let's talk about it.
Sits with the flesh and the intel.
Is it high tech?
Whoa.
High auto spell?
Myths to the majesty of my being understood.
All right. Here we go. Huge rap hit together. Bless. Hopefully, I still got you all here. Yes, we're rocking, we're vibing, we're back, we're feeling it. Thank you. Just quickly on like ads and such. I'm doing this Twitch thing. Let's be real. I'm doing this because I want to make it. Like I want to be the guy. Yo, Trish, thank you for joining in the mix. This is what it's all about, right? So okay, let's brother, I'll hear anything, man. You spit facts. I want to hear about the marriage interview. Let's get it. Ads and all this kind of stuff. Like what I've been doing over the past 2 years has been just creating a space for myself to express, which is really important. If you were tuned in before, it's been really important for me to find a space where I get to be as me as possible and explore what that actually means. And as I've been exploring, I'm happy to just go, this is for free. Here you go. Like you want my music, you want a demo, I don't care. Like I'm not precious about it. But like now it's time. Now I am thinking about family. Now I am thinking about building a business out of all of this, right? There's Mashoud Qureshi. That's my name. That's who I am as a person. Like take all this off, take Emkew, take the channel, take the Twitch. I don't care. I'm me. But that guy, me, needs to make bread. Like that guy needs to make money, needs to have a family. Like my ultimate goal in life is to be a damn good dad. Like I believe that I will be world's best dad material. Like I know that that's the thing I need to grow into. And to do that, I need to be able to provide for my family. That's why I'm learning how to do these things. Look like a FaZe Nikan or Ronnie 2K. I appreciate you. I don't know who those people are, so I'm gonna search them up later. Literally every stream, I come away with all these notes and then spend the whole week like researching what people want me to vibe to. So if you got suggestions, if you're not vibing with something, please let me know, because this is a huge important step for me in building that business and that brand. Because the last thing I want to do is do some fake shit. Like I'm sick of selling phones for Telstra. I'm sick of selling Foxtel plans. I'm sick of selling like trips overseas that families have to pay out their ass for. Halat jirki kedal chalen. 60 out of 60. Let's get it. Big goal hit. Thank you so much to Jirki, an incredible human being. Bless. Mwah. Strawberries and love and kindness in the best way. My world just got brighter. We hit 60. What a great time. And I'm trying to do that. And this is a piece of that puzzle. Going to Pakistan and doing it in broad daylight in front of my family is a piece of that puzzle. And there's opportunity aplenty. There is a market big enough for me to monetize what I'm doing meaningfully and learn so that I can then run masterclasses, that I can then like do this thing in a way where I would love to coach people on stage presence, on how to build a brand, how to do this stuff. But to do that stuff, I need to do that stuff. And so I can't wait to get to the point where I can sell classes, where I can do sessions one-to-one, help coach you realize your dreams and come along this path with me. Because so far, I've been happy to spit like game of sorts on the Vibe Union podcast. That's, by the way, 39 episodes deep of just straight facts and good game of how to just like operate in a scene in an authentic and pure way. And I can't stress this enough. If you want a space to be you and express yourself and to be seen and to be heard, Vibe Union is where it's at. So please, 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 if you haven't already, there might be some links down below, or go to my website or something, and please, by all means, connect up with Vibe Union, because if you're watching this, then for one, you're real. Like, you're a real human being who deserves to be seen, who deserves to be heard for your expression. And Vibe Union is always has been about that platform from day one. There's often that insurmountable hurdle, big respect for making shit happen. Most times we have to manufacture our own opportunities. Akal is one of those blessing of a human beings that comes around in a lifetime and just lightens things, like brightens things in a beautiful way. I feel enlightened to have you in my life, Akal. Harleen, he's in Hungary, and just mad love, mad support since we connected through. Guess? Vibe Union. Say it louder for the people in the back. We call it Vibe Union. I don't know if you know this, but I love Vibe Union. And I'm going to be so sad to be missing out on live events that Vibe Union is going to be running. I'm going to be so sad to leave behind Rapper's Delight, the rap karaoke event that we kicked off, rebirthed, made a re-hit in this city, and have to pause to find someone else to fill those shoes. By the way, Mikado, if you're watching, hit me up. Let's make it happen, yo. I want it happening again here in Nam, in Melbourne town. Can't coach me. I can't coach you. I appreciate you. I don't know who this person is, but bless them. Man, people, my Instagram be blowing up. It's crazy, but I don't give a shit about it. So family, identity, morals. So we've covered that. I need to go and reconnect with that. I need to reconnect with faith. And I'll share a quick story and then we'll talk about the interview stuff. My early 20s, and in fact my teen years, I really struggled with calling myself a Muslim and believing myself to be a Muslim not because I didn't believe in God, not because I didn't believe in the stories of prophethood that we've had. I get that. I feel that. Like, I feel a certain spiritual calling that I can't deny. And if I feel it in this way, and I'm still able to do this kind of shit and distract myself with, like, the world, and there are people who are more ascetic and pure in their spirituality today, then surely a world devoid of distraction earlier, these people were able to tune into prophetic wisdom given through divine knowledge. Like, I believe that, right? If I can feel a skerrick of it, there are people who must have been tapped into that source, and there are people who are tapped into it today, not in the same way. I didn't feel like a Muslim because I didn't do the steps. That was imposter syndrome for me. Introducing myself or being introduced as a Muslim in certain contexts, any context, going to mosque, imposter syndrome, massive. Because I was like, I know how to do the steps, but I don't believe these steps are what's connecting me to God. That's what I would feel. I would hear stories of like, well, alcohol burns the tongue of whoever drinks it with the very fire of like hellfire. And I would like drive past a bar and there's people outside drinking beers. And I'm like, they seem like they're having a good time. So which is the truth? And I really struggled with things like that. So I thought that this isn't for me. The dogma of this faith is not what's for me. Ergo, I must not be a Muslim. And I'm really grateful that I've come back from it. And there was a very specific point that got shared with me, and I'll always cherish it. I'd like gone out and traveled. I think some of you may know I went and did like a Vipassana meditation course in Indonesia. So 10 days, silent meditation. It was like meditation boot camp. Wake up, meditate, take a break for half an hour, come back and meditate. For 13 hours a day, we would meditate, and there would be like 1 hour breaks. There were 2 meals and a cup of tea. That's it. That was the day for 10 days. Don't talk to anyone. Talk to the instructor and say like, yeah, I'm feeling okay. My cushion's all right. Cool. Back to not talking. Move on. And at the end of that, I came back to Australia. At the end of that, actually, sorry, I went for Umrah, which is the Hajj, which is the pilgrimage that Muslims go on in a very specific time of year. But when you don't go at that time of year and you go for any other time, it's called Umrah, and it's sort of like a Hajj light, if you will. I went for that with my family. Like, I finished the meditation course and I called mum and I was like, is there any chance we can go do Umrah together, because I'm feeling this calling. And we did that, and that was amazing. And I came back to Australia and I connected up with some of my Pakistani homies around here, and some of them run this group called Benevolence, and their role is essentially this, like, what was it, the Wayfarer's Lantern. I think that was the like really beautifully poetic way of putting it. It was a way for people who had become wayfarers, who had gone off the straight path, to be shown a light to come back. And I really connected with them, and Zayn was one of the big ones for me. No record deal. I appreciate you. Come hang out here. These folks had a day that was like, come and hang out with this very renowned sheikh. Sheikh essentially is a religious leader, someone of like a lot of religious learning and knowledge, and a staunch academic within the faith, and a spiritual guide and leader. So this was Sheikh Ninue, and he'd been invited to come and participate in some talks, and he gave these big talks. Yo, Connor, what's going on, man? Blessings to see you today. By the way, Connor, mad producer. If you're trying to get some tracks made, the dude has a banging setup. So hit him up. The Connor Music, as you're reading it there, is pretty much his name on Instagram. Hit him up through there. The man, like, crazy. He's ready, man. He's ready to take you to the next level. So here I am. I've been lost in the world. Q, Kanye West, lost in the world. And there's Kanye for everything. Connor _ there we go. And I came back to Australia and had this day of come and meet the sheikh, have a one-on-one, and I got given an opportunity. I was granted an opportunity to have a one-to-one audience with the sheikh. And my, these friends, family friends, like, in a sense, like they feel like cousins, brothers to me, invited me to talk with him. And I sat with him, and they were like, think of any questions you might have. And I was like, man, what are my questions? Like, hey, dude, is it really a sin to drink? Like what am I going to ask this guy? Like, hey, man, is there any redemption for me? And the question I put to him was like, how do I resolve this feeling that I have come too far away from God? How do I resolve this feeling that I've distanced myself from salvation, redemption, from, positive things in my life? And he sat there and he thought and he kind of smiled and he asked me a question back. This is such a sensei move, right? Answering a question with a question. He says, where is Allah? Where is God? I was like, whoa, everywhere. And I wanted to get poetical with it. I was like, I was going to be like, God is in every flower. God is in the rainbow. God is in the rain. God is in, God is in this very mat on which we sit. God is in the tree above us. I didn't even get that far. I was like, God is everywhere. It's like, so if God is everywhere, where can you go that is more or less distant from him? He got me. He got me there. Where in this world could I be lost that God, this spiritual force, the all-encompassing everything, could somehow not find me, could somehow not see me in what I'm doing, could not know my heart? I was like floored, man. It didn't matter at this point if, like it just hit. It was like, cool, my lostness is not objectively verifiable. I am not off the rails. I'm living my life. And I'm living it in this way. And if I chose to, I could live it in a way that then for me feels like I'm closer to God. But at no point am I further away or closer to God in the way that God sees me, in the way that faith, in the way that the universe decides the path that we're meant to be on. There's no external decider to that. It's simply like what we carry in our hearts and the things and the choices that we want to make. And it really hit home for me. I was like, cool. One, it totally dispelled the sense of urgency, which, there are people that are going to hear that and be like, brother, you need to come back to the path straight away, because if you do not, then maybe you die tomorrow and your sins will be heavier than your good deeds, and you will go to Dozakh, to Jahannam, and you will die and you will burn in the eternal hellfire. Totally respect that may be your view. That's a great question. Great question, Harleen. I appreciate you, man. Let's circle back to that in a sec. But that was kind of that big point, right? So for me, it was like family, that reconnection, that no matter how lost I get, I'm not actually distant or removed. And the reconciliation comes from periods like, so I came back, I had that experience, and the feeling of closeness to God comes from experiences like prayer, comes from experiences like charity, comes from experiences like connection, honesty. Like, I can't stress this enough, that I feel closer to God talking about my sins, because only God can really dictate or determine what is a sin, all that kind of stuff. But I feel closer to God talking, ideally, hopefully not in a boastful way, about the shit that I've done that might feel wrong, than to present as a pious person. And that honesty about wrong is, to me, a better closeness to God and a better reconciliation with God, because it's an acknowledgement of fault and a drift towards the right, than to mask and hide the wrong in my life and pretend like I'm close to God. So what did I have to reconcile in my life? Strengthening my prayer. I think that's it. And that's still a struggle for me. I don't pray 5 times a day yet, but I will. And I want to build that up. And by being in Pakistan, like that's just going to happen, right? Like, I want to engender that. And that happens when there's a mosque 30 meters from the road 30 meters down the road from the house in which I'm going to be staying. When that blares, I can go straight to the bathroom, get up from whatever I'm doing, wash myself, stand on the prayer mat, and just shut the rest of the world out. And at the end of that time, and as I've been doing of mornings lately, I can feel that closeness again. And I can reconcile everything I've done in the past hours leading up to that prayer. I can reconcile that in the context of it was leading me to this moment of connection with my Creator. And now I can reflect and say, I've done well by what I believe my God wants of me, what our God wants of me, or maybe I haven't. And then how can I do better? And Wrath is probably in the chat. Dilly Dave's probably in the chat. We used to be catching up almost daily, right? Back in the start of the whole Vibe Union thing. And I was a lot better with that practice. One, because Mum was in the house, so that certainly helped. But they can attest to this. I would pause meetings and I would be like, guys, I need to go pray. And I would come back and I would be in this like zone. If you haven't seen these, by the way, anyway, if anyone wants one of these bad boys, they're my sort of daily planner things. This one's not very filled out because today was hectic. But I would like write down the prayer times for the day in that, and know that my day is going to be scheduled and structured with that in mind. So I'm preparing reflection. Then I'm getting there, and then I'm in a certain place of honesty about it. And then I can turn around from that moment and dictate the path forward. So strengthening prayer, I think, is so big. And even talking about it right now, it feels like it's strengthening within my heart. So I'll tell you what, I'll probably cut this stream when it's prayer time for Maghrib, which will be in about an hour. So we got another hour of chat. Don't you stress. So that's probably the biggest one. I think I can dive down on that further, but that's for another time. And I think there's more to discuss in there. And anything from here on out is going to be speculative. So if you've got questions within any of that, please by all means hit me. But I don't want to ramble too much on this thing that I'm still just starting to re-enter and re-understand myself. Let's talk about marriage interviews. Let's talk about being the black sheep. Let's talk about being the weird one. Let's talk about being judged in the eyes of people who have very strong beliefs about how one should be, either in certain spaces or in life in general. Yeah. I spent a very long time believing myself that, I'm here, I'm in this world, I'm an Aussie now. And that, whatever comes next and all that kind of stuff is going to be in the context of being an Aussie and in that lens. And it would be reflected when I went back. Like when I went back home to Pakistan, everyone's like, Angrezi bacho achi, our Aussie kid is here. And I just more and more, like in the things that I did, like we would have family come and visit or something, and they'd ask about what I'm doing and all that kind of stuff. And if there's family tuning in right now, you could probably like, please drop it in the chat. Let me know how I'm the weird one, because I know I am. And there was a constant drip feed of information feeding back from my life back over there that I wasn't wholly aware of. And it wasn't from my parents, it was from various people who follow me on my Instagram, on my Facebook. And there was a really controversial moment where back in 2010, I had a girlfriend, the epitome of Aussie, gori chokri, right? Blonde hair, you know, this social world. Absolutely, we live in a social media world, and life is public. And to be perfectly honest, I'm comfortable with my life being in public. I put on here what I'm comfortable having on here for anyone to see, and I don't put on here the kind of boastful nonsense that might occur to me to put on places, because I don't need to attract negativity around achievements, or I don't need to. It's kind of like jinxing or like bad, you know, nazar we say. But it's not about that. It's not about any of that kind of stuff. But there was this constant drip feed, and unfortunately, back in the early days of having Facebook, I didn't know about like tagging and that kind of stuff, and it would just pop up in news feeds. So I got tagged in a photo where I'm out at a thing with my, you know, Aussie blonde girlfriend who wears short shorts and things like that, and she's sitting on my lap, and we're kind of making out, and someone's taken this photo at a party and they've uploaded it and tagged me in it, and I didn't hear about this from anyone, but 48 hours later I'm hearing from my mum, take that photo down and block the following people. And I was like, happy to take the photo down, but why would I block like family members? What's going on? Not one person reaches out to me to be like, hey bro, like this is some off the rails shit, like what's going on, man? Are you doing okay? Like no one's there to check up. But now it's the gossip circle, and it felt really weird. Like, you know, you walk through Woolies and stuff and you see like New Woman magazine or New Idea, whatever the hell these things are, and it's like Jennifer said what, or J-Lo spotted doing this or whatever. And it felt like that. They're like, what is he doing out there over there? And these circles have started this chatter that have gone off the rails. And basically since then, so that was 2010 and we're here in 2021 now. That's kind of been this narrative that has continued to be built upon. So one, I know this, I don't have a university degree. I have dropped out of 3 separate degrees and I make no secret of it. I'm just a bad student. That's just a fact. And all of this information has continued flying around for a very long time, and people have used these as credentials for like general, like he's out there. And so now this conversation is coming up about marriage, and you know, I kind of have to rep the family in this like marriage among families who know each other and are like, you know, in a way our fates are entwined. Shouts out Laura Entwined. And suddenly, all of these things about my character are coming right back up. But now they're coming back up with a ferocity. Now they're coming back with stories that might have been... Hey, who's this? Martucci! I bless you, man. Hola, what's going on? Thank you for being here. Can't be in certain social settings without judgment and assumption based on just a picture or a comment. Exactly. Right? So this is where I'm at. So... at no point has there been any attempt to clarify where am I coming at this from? What is the context for this rumor that has spread? But now, instances or reports from 5 years ago that someone said to someone such and such that has since done the rounds and gone around in circles and re-emerged later, they're now being spread with the same veracity as if the story happened yesterday. And so there are things I'm hearing about myself that I didn't know about myself that I had ever done or would ever dream of doing. Matuki, bless you, man. Thanks for being here. And that is a weird feeling. It's crazy. So what I'm hearing from people is like tripping me out. I didn't know I did that. I'm pretty sure I did not. And I can pretty safely say, no, I did not. And yet, those stories are forming the basis for the perception that is being fed about who I am today. Mind you, 5 years ago, spread out of proportion, brought in as if that's who I am today. craziness. So there's all this stuff, all these questions about my character going on. And let me give you a little secret. If I've ever hidden or masked certain habits or things, or kept it low key when there was an opportunity to turn way TF up, it's purely because that has been my worst nightmare. Because I love my family. I love everything about us. I make decisions that are about me and in the moment and impulsive and shit. Like the shit decisions, right? I know I've made them and I don't regret them. They make me who I am today. But I can very accurately and without remorse judge those decisions as poor decisions. And I want to come back to that in a sec, because that comes back to the concept of weird versus unique. And I've got a really good conversation I had with someone really close to me about the concept of weird, to draw on for it. But it was my worst nightmare. It's been my worst nightmare since I started being off the rails. That all of this stuff, Carl gets it. I've been through the same in my earlier life. Funnily enough, that judgment is because they want you close to the family. You can drive. Exactly right, bro. That judgment is... There is a way to execute on judgment that is about... It's calling out versus calling in. And I am a firm believer in call-in culture. Call people in to what you see as being the right thing. Don't call it out, because you're saying, hey, you're out there doing the wrong thing. Look at you, you're wrong out there. And in here, we're the right ones. When you call in, you're just saying, hey, there's a better way. Hey, you want to be accepted socially. Be staunch in your character. Be real about who you are and be accepted for who you are. Come in and do that. Not out there, you're compromising, you're doing that bad shit, you're out there. Call in. I like that. I strongly believe in call in culture. I really invite everyone. Bless you, Carl. You get it. Calling them in. It's really important. It's really, really important to call people in. So this whole interview stuff going on around my character over there is trippy, and it was my worst nightmare for the longest time. For so much of my life, I've lived in a general, overwhelming sense of anxiety that the decisions I'm making, if I'm out at a bar and someone's taking photos, if I'm holding like literally straight Coca-Cola in my hand, I'm putting that glass on the bar before that shutter gets clicked. And I would like to think I've got it down to an art form where people haven't noticed. Because I don't want people to feel uncomfortable about the fact that I feel uncomfortable in public spaces where alcohol is being consumed, where men and women are in mixed company, where someone is smoking a cigarette in the background. Like, those are all things that I have now been hearing about that I know are not wrong here in this environment, but I've always had to keep a register on. And I was explaining this to friends of mine that basically there has been a baseline 5 to 50, depending on the night, depending on my moment and my mental state, percent amount of brain energy dedicated to the anxiety of what would happen if this moment were shared out with my family. What would happen if what I'm doing right now, the people who don't understand this context got wind of what's happening right now. They just got a snapshot. So I've had hangouts with friends where literally like someone's just on phone on Snapchat or doing something and I'm just mentally preparing my go bag. I'm just like, okay, cool. All right, well, you know, I'm here. Mum's calling me and maybe I'm like not in the right frame of mind to pick up that phone call. What's going to happen if I pick up this phone call? Okay, cool. I got to go home. I got to go pack my shit. I'm going to stuff it in a suitcase. Maybe I can get away with taking the car to the airport and not get stopped on the way. But then, you know, I'll have booked a ticket, go to Chicago, change my name, become a rapper, live on the street, and just, you know, just build up from there. Like, let's, you know, burn notice. Let's go from there. That's like, that thought is like a weekly occurrence for me. Like it feels weird to be saying it out loud. Thank you, Akala. I appreciate you, man. That's been there. It's always been there. And, it's been my worst nightmare, right? I've been always mentally prepped for it, and that anxiety's never gone away. The realness of that possibility has never gone away. But what's going on, Jess? Can you hit the link? I've got some good news for you all. It's happening right now before my very eyes. all the respected elders of my family, of that family, putting their heads together, hearing these stories, synthesizing all this stuff. Bro, that's a good question, Akal. I feel weird. There's a weird abstraction. But if I'm being 100% honest with you all, actually really, I think I'm good at explaining shit like this. And I think I need to explain shit like this, even if for myself, though I've told this story a couple of times now in close friends' company. But the way that folks are responding to this, the fact that people are here, rocking with it and watching it, I feel really seen. I feel really supported to keep telling this story that I've made my peace with. I think that's the other part is this process, that whole interview shit going on, in a sense, the reference checking. It's helped me realize that, well, I guess, sorry, the point I'm trying to make is I'm living through right now my longest term worst case scenario. The thing that I thought was my biggest fear, I had planned for, literally meant, like I would joke with friends that I have plans A through L in life, you know? Plan A is the one that keeps changing. It's what I'm always working towards. Plan C is what I call Plan Chicago. It's move to Chicago, start again. That was Plan C. It was always A, B, C. B, B's some craziness. But then there's Plan H, Plan Hyderabad, which was move right back to Pakistan and do all that shit. But sorry, what I'm saying is I'm living through my absolute worst nightmare, and I can smile about it. I can actually be comfortable in the knowledge that, okay, cool, now it's all out there. Now all of these things, everyone's on the level. Everyone knows who I am, and they can see me. Hopefully people are watching this and you can see that, like, I'm not sitting here trying to like pretend I'm not any of that stuff. At least of what's true. The exaggerated shit, like, let's talk about it. Like, come hit me with the allegations. Like, again, what's crazy is people aren't talking to me. Like, there's conversations happening around me, and it's kind of weird. That's probably the ickiest part of this, is that I know that there's conversations going on that I'm not party to yet, but they're happening about me, and that feels weird. But I think that's short term. I can appreciate that is a very temporary phenomenon. I'm going to be in Pakistan in a week, and I can then be very strong party to these conversations. But my worst nightmare is unfolding in front of me, and on the other side of it, in theory, if all goes well, and I feel like it will, I get to get married to like an incredibly human, like an incredibly amazing human being who just lifts me up. Like, the very thought of her just like lights in my brain. Like, this is what my brain looks like thanks to her. So there's my worst nightmare unfolding, and I'm grinning through it, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. And on the other side of it, people know who I am. I get to take my next steps forward in full confidence, in full view, and that feels amazing. So Maricane, if you stuck with this yarn, that's kind of the interview shit. That's the reference check stuff that's been going on, and I don't know, I couldn't be happier. It's the ultimate weight, the ultimate existential dread that I had for so long in my life. And it's just being, like, it's just lifting. Like, day by day, I feel lighter, I feel kinder, I feel like the world is... Actually, I read Matthew McConaughey's Green Lights recently. There's a very good line in it. I have plenty of proof that the world is conspiring to make me happy. And for some reason, being run through the ringer like this, I actually kind of tally it in reasons to believe the world is conspiring to make me happy. Because this is an essential part of the process. This is the airing out of a bunch of skeletons and shit that is, in my opinion, going to lead to a very positive and strong outcome. And most importantly, then I get to operate within family, and people know exactly who I am. They're all up to speed. If they're tuning into the stream, like, God bless you. But then we're all on the level. So that's the interview. That's where I'm at. Akal, thank you for asking. Mariam, thank you for asking. Let's pause for a second. I'm gonna drink some water. And if you haven't yet, please drink some water. or you might die. Mick Jenkins. I'd love to hear from you if you just want to drop me a quick comment and let me know how you're feeling having heard all of this stuff. Like, is this interesting to you? Is this a bunch of oversharing? Does this sound whingy? Does this sound, I'd love to know, because as I said before, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do all the time. I want to do this while I'm in Pakistan, mind you. I'm going to be there. I'm still going to be doing this every Sunday, just not next Sunday because I land next Sunday. I get out of the airport at the time that this would normally go live. So give me 1 week off. Vertex, bless, man. Sheza, yeah, what's going on, man? Come kick it, bro. We're on Twitch. And we got the chats. Yes, though, you feel it. Drink water. Stop talking. Full infection. Oh, if I'm being honest, I'll probably stick to the same time. It'll be 11 a.m. on a Sunday, which means everyone's going to be going about life and everyone will be out in the world over there, and I'll get the place to myself. So I'll probably keep to the same time. I'm so sorry, Akal. Sheza, bless, man. Thank you for being here. Vertex, you too, man. Let me just have a little snacky snack. Who's rocking with this? Who's having a good time? What are we vibing? What are we feeling? I've just gone into full overshare mode. Bless, thank you, Akal. And that's it, my third culture kids, my third generation homies. We're loving it, we're leaving it. Now, let's circle back. Minty asked this question at the start. It's a really good question, and it's a point of contention for me because it's where my artsy brain that says that all expression is valid. Haram police. Oh my God, yes. I appreciate that, Laura. Thank you. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for seeing me here and now, because yeah, you're, the Emkew that I've been for so much of time is like, cool, as an entertainer, as a businessman, this is what I need to put out into the world. This is that. And over time, I want to cultivate that image, but I kind of want to use this space, especially more of a dedicated chat channel, especially while I'm in Pakistan, like living out that experience. God damn, that's rich. Like, I want to share that with people. So getting to do that here. So, Marikane, Mariam, I appreciate you. I was anxious about Haram police through most of my childhood and became chameleon. I think it was maybe age 18 or 19 until then that I decided, thank you, Laura. I literally would be like, I'm a chameleon. I would say it about accent. So, from age 10 when I changed my accent from Pakistani accent to the sort of broad Aussie kind of cultivated sort of accent to I'd watch TV and I just understand how some people talk. Mo Sizlak, I would just sit and copy voices, and I decided I became an accent chameleon to the point that I would meet someone with an American accent and I would just suddenly start talking in their kind of accent with them, and I couldn't turn it off because it became so important to me to be seen and accepted as what they are versus them seeing who I actually am inside, which is struggling to fit in, which is conflict from what I'm meant to be from back home to what I'm meant to be in this environment to who I think I want to be, but I don't know who I want to be because it's actually only important that that I be heard and understood on the present points. So getting to be heard and understood on my story is a new journey for me. It kind of kicked off last year with Third Culture Kid, which, if you're in the mood for more of these yarns with even less interactivity, go check out my website, The Third Culture Kid, YouTube. It's up on my YouTube as well. It's an hour-long piece I did for Fringe Festival. Big shouts out to Alex Boyd, Amy Wright, who hooked me up with the link for Fringe Festival, Georgia, who helped me out with the direction on it, David Walker, unbelievable legend, who helped me out with it, with vision and photography, cinematography as well, like crazy. Thank you. I feel you, Laura. And it's just quickly on that, this is, I'm not sitting here trying to tell you this is a unique experience and y'all need to listen to me about juggling different hats. No. Anyone who's a mother and a businesswoman like Laura, who is also just trying to be a woman in this world, trying to be a human in this world, trying to be seen as someone who wants to have fun and wants to collaborate and be a creative person. those are all different hats. Those are all different roles that you got to wear in equal measure throughout the course of the day. And sometimes you want to meet someone as a human and they only see you as a dancer, you know, and that's something that you do as your career, as your business. And that's the only way that they want to see you. And they don't want to see you as a person. You know, those things are things that I think, have in common. And we need to celebrate the fact that we all wear different hats and different faces and different masks and different roles. If you can unify them, like, awesome. If you can minimize and downsize the need to wear masks, then awesome, good for you. But for those of us that kind of by necessity or by habit or by acclimatization have developed new faces and masks and things, like, just understand that does go on. Kel Mac, I appreciate you. Kel, am I correct in guessing that you're like Kelly, like Anya Kelly? Which it really freaking means the world to me that you're here. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you. But if not, like, still, thank you. Thank you for hitting that follow button. Thanks for rocking with this story. I know you've been here for like an hour and a half as well. It really means a lot. Yes. Yeah. That's the vibe. Family, imposter, weirdo. Okay, cool. So let's go to that next step. So all throughout my life, though, I've had a strong concept of like right and wrong. Oh, you're good. Don't even sweat it. What'd you have for dinner? I'm eating salt and Vinny mini shapes. The concept of right and wrong, achieving outcomes, that's really strong in me. So because of all this adaptation and cultivation that I've had to do over the years, I'm very aware, and mind you, from doing sales, I'm very geared towards like, there's a very clear outcome that I want to achieve. My absolute pleasure. Yo, Mariam, like, come on, man, let's be in touch, dude. I've been hitting you up. Like, you got to come and drop some poetry on Vibe Union. Thanks for rocking here. Thanks for being here. But yeah, I just miss you, man. I miss you. I really do. And I need more Marrakein in my life. So please bring it. Please bring it. I've built up a life with really strong concepts of desired outcomes. And recently I've come to appreciate that, you know, the whole, it's about the journey, not the destination. And I thought I'd internalize that in the fact that I was free living. I was a mote of dust on the wind in typhoons and winds of fortune and all that kind of stuff. I traveled here. I went to Vietnam on a whim and all that kind of stuff. But things are very outcome driven for me. I need to achieve a certain XYZ. And that's why sales becomes really like addictive to a mind like mine. That's why it was really addictive to me, because I know if I interact with this person in this way, at the end of that interaction, I'll get the thing that I know that I want / need. And the need over time, like, wore thin. It was just one. I want to hit the number on that board at the end of the day that says, I did this and I did it good. I got really good at sales. I'm really good at sales. I'm not going to shy away from that. I'm not amazing at it. I couldn't, like, catch me in full flight and I can do some pretty incredible stuff when it comes to convincing you if there is the actual need. If there is a way that thing makes sense in your life, I'll do it. Because I like connecting people to solutions. I like finding solutions for things that need to be solved for. I love this song, by the way. Vibe Union. Hang on, let's bring this up. Yeah. Believe your ears, it's the voice of a legend, the tears, the fears, the choices I'm penning. There's so much of this stuff embedded in the lyrics that I write, by the way. So feel free to take your time with that shit. Hey, Paul Factor, what's going on, man? Come hit up Twitch. By dope, big city, making my fire go wherever my car go. So there is the right thing that you can accomplish in a social situation. There is the right thing that you can accomplish in a sales situation, in a networking situation. And where I fall apart with people is when I believe I understand their intention or what they're trying to achieve, which is to be accepted in that situation, to be heard. Hey, Vertex, bless you, man. Thank you for hopping across. I appreciate you. If you just made an account, man, mad love. Thank you for doing that. If you don't mind, just hit that follow button. It helps push me a little bit further into where I need to get to on my Twitch journeys. But if you are particular about who you follow and all that kind of stuff, then by all means, hey, bless, man. Thank you, man. And so if I feel I understand someone's intention and their desired outcome, and I see them behaving incongruently with that, then I really struggle. And all I want is to help that person get onto that track. But I to me, that feels deeply inauthentic when someone is doing shit for the sake of doing shit. Or worse still, for the sake of feeding and satiating anxiety. Like anxiety, like, you know, the people who have like strong coping mechanisms that they just do random shit. I was feeling weird, so I just made it weird. Stop that. Stop that. Like, to me, that is the epitome of like the expression of ego. Like, hey everybody, I'm feeling anxious. I really struggle with that. Because if your goal in that setting is to be seen and to be calmly welcomed and incorporated into a space, then to me that's deeply incongruent. And I'm seriously, I can't repeat this enough. If this is something you struggle with, then know that like it used to happen to me too. I went the other way. I would just be quiet as shit. Like I like being in the center of attention and in the limelight, like obviously, but I would withdraw and I'd get really snarky and I would like make it known that I don't want to be here. And it still happens to me sometimes. If I'm exhausted, if I'm in a weird bad place, like in a social situation, I just kind of barbs out kind of thing, right? But it became really clear to me really quickly that if I do that, I'm pushing people further away. And the next time I interact with them, that's the impression that they have of me. And they're going to perceive me through that lens. Not the lens that I desired to be perceived through, which is that I'm affable, I'm enjoyable. I spend 90% of my time enjoying myself there and having a good time and networking and engaging with people. And then the last 10%, I got real snarky because I was actually just hungry or because I wanted to go home or whatever was going on. I had an argument with someone, whatever. And so then the decisions that we make to just be ourselves, I'm just living in the moment. Like, no, I'm sorry, man. But if your goal is to be accepted and to be seen for who you are, then don't be what your anxiety is telling you to be. Don't be what your coping mechanism wants you to be. Like, and if that is hard to control, then extricate yourself from that situation. And that can be hard. Absolutely, it can be hard. And if you want to talk about it, please come talk to me. Please come talk to me because I feel like I'm in a much better place with this in my life than I have been ever before. And I want anyone hearing this right now who has a coping mechanism, who struggles with like social situations, struggles to be seen in the way that they want to be seen in a social situation, know that I've been there and I've done a lot of work to get out of that space so that I can sit here and talk to dozens of people over the course of 2 hours and be able to share my story and share who I am and not feel uncomfortable, not do weird shit for the sake of doing weird shit. Late but here, need to rewind to 2 hours ago so I hear about the whys of the current state. I appreciate you, Meg. Thank you so much for being here. My current state. Look, quick recap. I think it's time for a good quick recap. I think so. I'm going to Pakistan. What started out as just like a suitable boy situation. I watched that, by the way, with my bride-to-be, hopefully. It was great. But her and I started talking, actually to kind of disqualify it and kind of be like, we tried, it didn't work, let's move on. It didn't work to disqualify it, and it got even better. And so now I'm thinking I'm going to go over there to get married. And as I think I need to go over there for more reasons than just to get married, a job opportunity comes along to do some cool creative shit. People who like I hadn't spoken to in ages are reaching out with other opportunities. There's just doorways opening like crazy. And so I'm just suddenly in this place where opportunity abounds. Love is ahead of me. And now I'm looking down the barrel of like the best years of my life that the last 30 have been leading me towards. And that feels incredible. I think that's about the recap. And then I was talking about imposter syndrome, third culture kids, growing up brown, coping mechanisms, adaptation and shift and change. So I really appreciate your being here. Mufiz and Mek, especially like for all my brown homies, get around the brown come up on Facebook. Drop me a message or a like. Yeah, what's up, Jordy? Hey, what's up, Jesse? Thank you so much, Mek. So that's where we're at now. So now I'm talking about the difference between weird and unique. So I'm unique in the environment I'm in. One, because I'm me and everyone's unique. Blah, 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 blah. General blanket acceptance of everyone. Everyone's unique, individual. Yes. but I'm also unique in this context, in this environment here in Melbourne, Australia, because I'm brown. I speak another language. I have a different faith-based practice. I have a different set of morals. I view things through a different lens. My brain works a little bit differently than I guess a lot of other people. Like, for one, I know I'm neurodivergent because I sat and did tests about whether or not I'm neurodivergent. Like, I would say that generally speaking, those tests tell you that you're like off a little bit, because you're probably off a little bit, which is why you started asking yourself if I'm off a little bit. People who get along with everyone and understand their context in the environment that they're in don't do tests to try and understand why they don't fit in. And I got a lot of self-validation through my teen years for that shit. But, you know, there's no diagnosis or anything. Love is the answer. Jordy gets it. That's the individual. That's uniqueness. Those are the things that make me unique. And what is weird is a little niggle went off in my brain just now, and I decided to just follow it. Regardless of how it may be received, how it may impact the context I'm sitting in, I'm doing it, and everyone has to accept it. Is the pinnacle, to me, is the pinnacle of ego. How dare you not accept this random shit that popped into my head? I really struggle with it. And I had this conversation with someone recently where they were making themselves a tea. No, they were having orange juice. This person was having orange juice, and then was about to pour themselves a glass of chocolate milk at the same time. I was like, whoa, what are you doing? And they're like, what? I'm weird like that. I'm allowed to be weird. I was like, no, you're allowed to be weird, but is that the reason you're doing it? Are you doing it to be weird? Because I'm not coming at it from a place of judgment. I'm saying, like, gastrointestinally speaking, like, I care about your health. Putting like citrus and dairy with very different types of processed sugars into your gut at the same time as like a whole bunch of junk food being consumed, like, that to me doesn't feel like a sound decision. And my concern is with the decision, the action itself. It's not with the underlying character. It doesn't say anything about you. I'm not trying to make a statement about you. But what that person took it as was, you're judging me for being weird. I am weird, ergo I do shit like this. And I wasn't saying that the problem here is weirdness. It's like a health decision, a health choice. And that defense of weirdness, of an identity of like, I am weird, I am kooky, therefore you have to accept this decision. How dare you judge me for it? How dare you make me feel judged? I really, we had a mad conversation about it afterwards. And I was basically just saying, like, I hope you understand, like, my concern is not with you as a person and not with your character and not with who you're choosing to be. It's this particular decision. And if that decision is born from a place of anxiety or a sense of ego, about a sense of pride about being weird, then ask yourself, like, how are you allowing anxiety and ego and impulse decisions and a belief that you are weird? How are you allowing these things that are separate from one's own self, like from your spirit, like from your soul self? Why are you identifying with that decision? Like, why are you sitting there trying to defend a singular decision that was made in the spur of the moment? So that to me is like that distinction between those two things. So that's where if someone says to me that it's okay to be weird, like, absolutely it is. But if your reason for being weird is to be weird, then you're trying to identify with a passing thought. And like, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say that there is an objective right or wrong, but I know that trying to attach to and identify with momentary decisions and impulses and anxieties and things that flit through our brain is the cause of further anxiety. That has been my experience. That's the only thing I can say for certainty. That I know that if I hang on to the belief that I'm different and I don't want to be different and people will treat me as different, and that's my anxiety, then all of my decisions are going to come through that lens. And then when someone looks at me or says like, hey, nice hoodie, I'm going to assume that they're coming at it from a point of sarcasm. And I still, mind you, I still struggle with this. I struggle with praise. Like, y'all are really kind to me here, and I love it to pieces, and it really means a lot to me. But 1% of my brain will always go, they're saying that because I'm putting myself out here weirdly. Honestly, of all the conversations, this is the hardest one. I really struggle with this concept that I'm putting myself out here and people feel obliged to be kind to me, and actually they think I'm a weirdo and have no time for this stuff, and maybe they're saying this to placate something within me, blah 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 blah. And those thoughts used to run rampant, and I used to leave situations where I'm like being complimented and stuff. I've made my peace with the knowledge that like people don't have that kind of energy. People just don't have the time to sit and compliment someone when they're not deserving of it. And like people would be really detailed in their compliments, and I would still doubt them. Sorry, my anxiety would doubt them. Thank you, Mac. I really appreciate you. Thanks for hitting that button. It helps me get further in this, and I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do this full time, all the time, like in a meaningful way, between Twitch, between YouTube, between different channels. And if it, imposter syndrome, right? We're right back. What's up? You get it, man. Jordy Vincent. I just feel obliged to be nice to people that are nice to me. Wish you all the best. New job. Thank you so much. Thank you, Laura. Mwah. Thanks for joining in and being a part of this. And Lisa, I feel you. Okay, right? So there's then reciprocation. That's the next step. But Jordy, you're exactly right there, man. I'm entertaining comments from both sides. If you can join in on Twitch, I'd really appreciate that, man. Like I'm trying to like create that as like the main channel, and Twitch sees like viewers and shit like that as well. So I'm trying to set this up as like a springboard. So just within that is the imposter syndrome, right? Is I have to doubt. I feel I have to doubt it, and it's because I'm identifying myself with the anxiety, with the impulsive thought of the moment that this is the only reality. I am this thing. I am anxious versus I am feeling anxiety. I am feeling anxious. I am feeling doubtful of that compliment. And the moment I can do that, then I can hold that statement up. This is a cool thing I learned from someone. I can say, that person's compliment was false, or that person's compliment was hollow. And then the moment I feel that, I can ask myself a very basic question. Is it true? When you have a thought that comes across your mind like that has the opportunity, that has the chance, that has the potential to derail your brain, your mind, down a path that could end really badly, try and find the first nugget. Try and find the first thing you thought that made you feel a bit iffy, and just ask of that thought, is it true? There's other layers, there's more theory to that, and there's other steps you can take. There's a really cool thinker who came up, if you search is it true, mental health, motivational speaker, something like that, like there's a really powerful speaker. She's got 4 questions, and those 4 questions are meant to solve blah 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 blah. But just ask yourself, is it true? And if the answer is no, which it may well be, just hearing your, like, say it out loud. Just hearing yourself say, is it true? No. Ah, thank you. Like, thank you for saying that. Like I do that. I've just started training my brain into like, someone has said a nice thing. Like Laura just said a very beautiful thing. New adventures, it all sounds very exciting. It's not necessarily a compliment, but like Laura could have just gone, close tab, move on with life, and that's all good. But Laura decided to say this thing, and I can sit in doubt and be like, she's just saying that to be nice, and actually she got bored and left. And I go, is it true? And the honest truth is I don't know, but now I get to make a choice. I can decide that it's true that she was bored and people are bored of me right now, and I can give into the, I kid you not, throbbing anxiety in my brain that this is boring the crap out of people. Or I can ask myself, is it true that people are bored? Also, thank you, as opposed to, oh no, it's nothing. As opposed to, yeah, right? Don't trivialize a compliment. Like, my ex actually like helped me with this a lot, and was just like, stop reciprocating or stop trivializing compliments. Like, she would compliment me and be like, oh yeah, and by the way, you do this thing really well, or oh no, it was nothing. And she would like stop me and be like, stop, you're accepted. She would like ram the compliment down my throat, and it was amazing. It helped me do a lot of this work, and appreciating that and bringing about that change within myself. So on the difference between weird and unique, weird is someone who's doing it for the sake of doing it, and to me it smacks of inauthenticity. And I'm sorry, but like, I would say I have a pretty decent bullshit radar because I've been around a lot of bullshit. I've generated a lot of bullshit. I've worn a lot of masks in my life. I've been a very, like, Blair person, right? I've had different voices in my life. I wear my face differently every 6 months. I take a beard off, I take hair off, I grow it all out, I do weird shit. Like, I know what it is in a really extensive, deep way to hide behind shit. And so when I see someone doing it, I do pull them aside. And I do say, like, hey, what's going on? Are you doing okay? I've got people in my life where I have a continuous thread of conversation about, like, hey, I was feeling really anxious about this thing today, and let's talk about it. You know, and it's gorgeous. I really appreciate all of those people. Thank you for those of you that are tuned in right now, sticking with this. And you know, you don't ever have to comment. You don't ever have to be public about where you're at and what your progress is. But I see you, and I really appreciate every single one of you that's shining, that keeps growing every single day. Like, people I speak to once a month, once a year, it doesn't matter. It really means a lot to me that you are working on yourself, because here I am working on myself. This is how I go about working on myself. I would not recommend this to 99.99% of the people I know. This is not the place. Order 11, it's been a hot minute, yo. Thank you for dropping in. It's going really well. Hey, can I get some love for Order 11 in the chat? It's been a hot minute since Order 11 has come and hung out on the stream. I just wanted to share this real quick. Yeah! Quick bit of applause for Order 11. Bless you. We're having a good time. Order 11, I'm talking about why I'm leaving Australia. And right now I'm talking about the difference between weird and unique. And how, to me, unique is a celebration of an ongoing identity and what makes someone individual. And weird is the preservation of a thought that I at least believe to be born out of anxiety, to be born out of bullying, to be born out of isolation and ostracization. By the way, is my, let me find that word noise. And weirdness, I struggle to celebrate it. I struggle to see someone doing something that is obviously a massive attention grab designed to stave off some kind of anxiety and be like, I can't do it. Like, probably strange to leave home. It's deeply exciting, man. But one of the things I've been talking about, 11, is like, this isn't the thing that is home either. Like I've lived here. This has been my address for a long time, and in so many ways, like, I'm going home is like I'm coming back to this house, right? Like, and this city and stuff. And yet over the last year, but especially the last 2-3 months, home has been calling me, and it's not here, and it's back home in Pakistan, and it's among family, and it's among a level of love that I didn't think I'd be able to access in this lifetime. And suddenly I have access to it, and it's green lights all the way home, it feels like. So that's my conversation on weird and unique. There's a lot, and it's still a work in progress. By no means do I believe that this is, you know, the same. Like, I can't wait to watch this kind of shit when I'm bored and, you know, in my 40s and just crack up laughing at how dumb I am. But for now, if I'm repulsed by someone's weirdness, it's for these reasons. It's we're just having a polite, quiet conversation. We don't need to know that you just thought of a really funny fart joke in amongst a conversation about something totally different. And maybe, well, to me, it feels apparent that there was a level of anxiety bubbling inside someone, that they were becoming invisible in that environment, and they needed to say something or do something before they disappeared into thin air. Is it true? Are people going to forget your name if you don't talk for 5 minutes? Is that true? No. And the more that you're willing to take the time to consider how you're presenting yourself and how you might be received by the people you care about, not if they care about you, but the people you care about. I care about the people I'm talking to. I care about every single one of you. When I'm fucking rambling about the random shit that pops into my head, I care about all of you folks because you're sitting here and you're present, and this is equal parts my job, but equal parts like a deeply important exercise for me to communicate the things I've gone through, because the more I do this, the more I connect with people who kind of needed to hear it, and that feels more in line with my purpose and with my values. I bless you. Thank you so much, Trish. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out here. To me, it feels like you're doing yourself and then the people that you care about a disservice by giving into a momentary and a temporary, and I promise you, for like, I can't stress this enough, anxiety and depression and all of these things, my experience anyway is that they are temporary. Like, I have gone through these things, and I know that for some people these are not as short a phase as mine were, but I know that if you can remember a time in your life where that wasn't a state that you were in, then you actually have lived experience in your body that you haven't always been anxious. And please extrapolate from that point forward. This is so important to me. Extrapolate from that point forward and say, maybe it's possible that this won't be a permanent state for the rest of my life. And actually, instead of feeding the next anxious thought, I'll simply observe it and breathe and let it pass, because this too shall pass. Absolutely. Embrace it, observe it, and let it go. Don't act on it. Don't identify with it. Don't make it be the thing. And it's all in well to make it be the thing when you're by yourself, and giving into it can, it's hard. It's so hard to fight feelings like that, especially when you're by yourself. Don't give it power, absolutely. But when you're around the people that you love, ask yourself, am I around the people that I love? Do I want them to now see anxious me? Do I want to identify with my anxiety so much so that all I'm giving them is my anxiety? If you can tell yourself in that moment, just briefly, I can keep my mouth shut for 20 seconds longer. I can just pause for a little bit longer, not express this thing, then that's great. Because what happens is, if you identify with the anxiety, this brings us back to where we started. If you identify with that anxiety, if you identify with this thing that I need to say something so that I don't become redundant and my anxiety is blah, blah, blah. It's not even my anxiety anymore. It's just the anxious thought appeared. I could become invisible in this moment. And so you anxiously say a thing, and then people don't take it in the way that you want them to. And in fact, now, worse than being invisible, you're visible as a really weird unit. And suddenly you're like, well, that's not the response I wanted. I just wanted people to accept me for a moment. People were accepting you. You were there. No one was telling you, get the fuck out of here. Everyone wants you to be there. Who wasn't accepting you? But now you've gone and done a thing, and people within their own rights are allowed to respond in any kind of way that they want. When I was being a dick to people would be like, whoa, man. And I was like, no, I'm just making a joke. Hey, why has no one got a sense of humor around here? Why is everyone else? And now I started in a falsehood, and I identified with this fake anxiety, and people didn't respond to it the way that I wanted. And I'm building on that fakeness with more fakery. Now I'm defending that fakery with more fake shit. And now it's not only anxiety, but now it's ego and defensiveness. Now I'm like, how dare you? How dare you refuse to accept me? And how dare you judge me and my expression? And that's the dangerous slippery slope. And that's where people then forge, but to me anyway, what I've seen, they forge identities of weirdness, not uniqueness. They forge identities of impulsive, swinging from Tarzan vine to Tarzan vine to Tarzan vine, doing shit designed purely to be validated in the moment, because their belief is, if you let this moment pass, you will become invisible. And that is not true. One, because I see you. I see you. But beyond that, you can see you. You have the power to look in the mirror. You have the power to reflect on that thought in that moment and feel it and grow through it. And then hopefully you do that little internal struggle and you feel a bit of a win. You actually feel good about yourself. And then you say or you do something that makes that person feel good about themselves and they fucking love you for it. And they turn around and go, wow, you are a great person. Okay, cool. Minty, that may be the case, but you know, don't give that thought power that it just takes longer for some people, because that's a soothing mechanism for complacency, like for deciding not to do the work in the next moment. Be forgiving after the fact. By all means, be forgiving, but don't be complacent. Don't be complacent even before it happens. Don't say, oh, I don't have to work hard in this moment now because now is not the time for me to be good at this. Once you've made the mistake, be okay with being forgiving, because that's depression. Then you're holding on to shit in the past, and I think that's a very different kettle of fish. And forgiveness is really important, but in the moment, like, try your level best to rise above. Be aware of the thought, catch it as best you can. And I'm not sitting here judging the decisions anyone might have made in the past to indulge in that kind of behavior. I'm saying that those behaviors can be tallied and can be seen through a lens of like, they were done for these reasons, and one can be honest with oneself and then look forward and go, cool, the next time that I feel that thought bubbling up, I'm going to take it in this direction. I'm going to make this choice instead. Big chats, big vibes. What's going on? How we doing? Browser man, who's here? Who's rocking with us? Hey, DT's vibing. Yo, lots of people rocking up on Instagram. Homies, click that link in there, hit that bio, come and hang out. We're talking about why I'm leaving. Absolutely, Minty, and you know, we all have our different defense mechanisms. We can sit and we can hear something and not feel the need to respond and immediately just like throw something back and be like, yeah, but what about this? Or we can pause and we can take it on and we can just say, okay, cool. This is, who are we farewelling? We're farewelling me, Mordecai, me. This is the me show, motherfucker. So, thanks for tuning in, Mordecai. I really appreciate you, and I really dig your vibes. The Mordecai show, the Emkew show. I have made the decision over the past 2 months that I'm going to move back to my home country of Pakistan. I've lived in Australia pretty much my whole life. My plan is to go to Pakistan for about a year. Initially, what started out as an unfolding marriage proposal that, you know, is really exciting to me because I'm going to marry. I can't get over it. To me, it's the ultimate flex. I'm going to get married to the person I just deeply love and feel deeply loved by. I think that's the most kick-ass part, is I just feel so loved by this person. And I'm so excited. And I'm so excited to just have that. Already, I feel so enriched to have that love in my life, and it's gorgeousness. So that's where it started. And then what I've been talking about is this gorgeous... I'm happy for you, Minty. Awesome. I understand that everyone has a different journey, and I am seeing that all these journeys exist, and I believe also that it is a positive way to move forward. Hell yeah, man. Mordecai, you get it, bro. You get it. It is a liberating way to rewrite the script, and I'm so excited for it, man. I'm so stoked. It's just vibes. Like, it's the next step. It is, you know, for me, it is the ultimate forward movement of 30 years of amalgamation and accumulation of what I've put forward in this life. And today, you know, big vibes. It's been awesome kind of getting to this point. So, look, what I'll do, I really need to go refill my water bottle. By the way, if you haven't yet, drink water. I need to refill my water bottle. I'm going to run an ad real quick. I appreciate your patience. I'm being fully transparent and honest with you. 30 seconds, the screen is going to be nothing. Then there's going to be a little bit of music playing. I'll be back with my water bottle filled up. I'll chat some random shit for a couple minutes. Make sure that you can come back in if you want to go make yourself a cup of tea. If you want to tune out at this point, by all means, you can. What I'm going to do on the other side of the ad is I'm going to be talking about the crazy coincidences inherent in where I'm at in my life now. I've got a story to tell you about what my name means in Arabic. I've got a story to tell you about something a fortune teller told me that seems to be coming true in full force. And I also want to talk to you about a crazy, awesome, exciting art prospect project where I'm probably kind of going to jinx myself, but whatever. Hey. So we're going to hit the ad break. I'm going to go refill my water bottle. First, I'm going to drink water. And then I'm going to go refill my drink bottle. Hit the ad break. It's going to be 30 seconds of some whatever, maybe chocolate milk. I will, absolutely. So Mordecai, the plan is to keep this going. Same time, same slot. Sundays, 5 p.m. Melbourne time, so it'll be 11 a.m. Pakistan time. Won't happen next week, but the week after that. And then from there, the goal is to actually build up to a second stream. One which is more chats, and one which is music. So Sundays, I want to keep as songwriting, but I'd love to know, actually, hang on. Can I do a poll? I wonder if I can do a poll. That would be cool. If I could do a poll during the ad break thing. Yo, Mati, manage a poll. Yeah, boom. Create a new poll. Yes. What day of the week shall I do a just chatting stream? Guys, this is awesome. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, not Saturday. Allow additional votes. Oh yeah, you know what? You can vote more if you want. Duration is 10. Let's do 5 minutes. No, let's do 3 minutes. It's a 30-second ad. Let's move on. Boom! There is a poll active. Gorgeous humans. So I really like the Sunday afternoon. Yeah, perfect, man. So I'll be doing this for my songwriting anyway. Today I'm just having a chat about what's going on because I've only got the one stream. But please vote in this poll. I'm not allowed to. Is that poll still up? Yes, it is. Cool. So I'm gonna run an ad real quick. I'm gonna go refill my water bottle. I'm gonna go grab some more snackies. I'll come back and tell you about what my name means in Arabic and why that's very exciting. By the way, go do something cool. Go jump around, do some cool shit.
Main claim to maintain my body. Pulling strings, or is my side getting foggy? I'm torn between forms like ghost in a shell. Can't see a way out of this skin cell. Online or offline, I can't even tell. Need symbiosis with the flesh and the intel. Is it high tech, high art or spell? Mythical majesty, it might be an undersell. Magic or
Heyo, we back. Got some tunes. Should have turned the music up a little bit. I apologize. I appreciate you. View results. Stay, what a stay. I'm in a state. I'm in a state. Yeah. I appreciate everyone that's been dropping some votes already in the poll. We're hanging out. We're having a good time. How we doing, folks? Before we get back in, I said I'd do some chit chat after the break. How we doing? What are we up to? Who did a jumping jack during the break? What else did we get up to? How are we feeling? Is this too low? I didn't. Bit of ASMR for you all. Mordecai, you like the Sunday vibes? That's cool. Sunday's gonna keep kicking on. We're having a good time with it. In the meantime, let me pull up some info. No fuss that deserve a break. By the way, Spike Leo, great. I appreciate you, Pradeep. Thank you so much, man. I'll miss you too. Having a good time. All right, poll has ended. Hey, Wednesday. Wednesday's the day. Okay, cool. Might do a. Is this time good? What was the discussion on defense mechanisms and complacency? Oh, yeah, that's mad. I was talking about the difference between weird and unique. and talking about my experience of just coming out with random shit in the moment to dispel attention away from the fact that I was the weird kid. So I grew up, I'm still brown, but I grew up brown in white Australia and went to schools. I went to multicultural school during primary up until age 10, 11, 12. And then for 2 years I went to a very white private school and I was the weird kid. And it became my coping mechanism to just say shit the moment I felt kind of out of place, the moment I felt weird. It was like, oh, people are about to write their own narrative about me. No, including no narrative. Thanks, Minty. I'll catch you soon. It felt really difficult for me to like this idea that maybe other people might write a different narrative about me, including no narrative. So I would just like blurt out whatever came into my head purely for the purposes of self-preservation. Like, don't let me become invisible. And so I would say random shit. There was this, post 9/11, I distinctly remember like I was uncomfortable at the fact that I was leaving that school. I'm leaving the school. I can just like not make a fuss and move on with my life. But I'm feeling deeply uncomfortable that I'm leaving and people are saying all goodbye to each other. And what am I, invisible? What am I, chopped liver? Like, I just had like bags full of books. And I was just like, Allahu Akbar. If you don't get out of my way, I'll blow everyone up. I literally did that. That was an identity type. I started a group called the Muffin Man Terror Network, and we would send kids in our class anonymized emails like, "Do you know the Muffin Man?" And like freaked everyone out. Like we caused an incident, and it was purely because like, oh, like you all think I'm this? Like, oh yeah, man. I did it to be seen in a way that was different to how I thought everyone was seeing me. Like everyone thinks I'm weird, but they think I'm weird in like a nose picking, like weird body odor kind of ordinary weird sort of way. Well, no, screw that. I'm flipping the narrative. I'm deciding I'm weird in this way. And I would do shit like that, like through my early teens, into my late teens. And I that shifted once I started. Hey, what's going on, Beck? What's going on, Mullah? Yo, I'm on Twitch and there's a whole chat that I'm like responding to as well and everything there. If you want to come and hang out, just hit the link in my bio and we'll kick it there. That'd be great. And I would do shit like that. And it was really important to me. And over the years, I've come to accept that like my goal is not to be seen. My goal is actually to see the people around me, to help other people be seen. Like I started doing things like theater and improv, but also like a little bit reconnecting with family, but just creating healthier social structures. I appreciate you. Thank you, man. Thank you, AK3. Come kick it on Twitch. Disaster did that with battle rap. I'm not sure I follow fully, but hey, what's going on, Muskan? Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. I would do really dumb shit, and it just became really important to me. And so as over the years, I've come to accept that like, no, hang on. Like if there's a certain outcome desired in a situation, like am I congruent with that? One, is it a good desired outcome? And for me, a good desired outcome is to enter a conversation and leave it with everyone feeling a little bit better about themselves. And when I see people smiling and enjoying like the vibes, like even from here, like just seeing the comments, Muskan, I appreciate you. Just knowing that people are having a good time by the way I'm talking, the things I'm talking about are potentially enriching, are potentially just like humorous, enjoyable. Right. Okay. Yeah, that was it. That literally, that was it. I was like, cool. If people think I'm a terrorist, then you think I'm a terrorist in the way of like, I'm on some random websites doing some random shit or whatever, or maybe I've got a bomb in my bag, but I'm doing terrorism in this way or whatever. Like, man, I spent time and energy I shouldn't have, but I didn't know any better. And it was a coping mechanism. And I've already felt alienated at this school with white kids, and I was the only one on a scholarship. And like, there was so many different faces of differences. Yeah, right, exactly. That rap battle, man, I go back and still watch that every 3 months, dude. I love that shit. Eminem with 8 Mile. So if I managed to channel it into something creative, like God bless, that would have been great, but I didn't. Like, I used it purely to like keep distance lest people understand who I actually am, which I didn't really know who I actually was either. I was just living in opposition to what I'm not. It's a face of fear, man. It's the fear of not being precisely, dude. And ultimately, it's not on anyone else to accept us. Like that's so that's what I was saying is, what did you ask me? You asked me what was the thing about. Sorry, what was the question? It's in here. No, was it you that asked? Someone else asked maybe. Defense mechanisms and complacency. So slightly two tangential things. And I apologize. Thank you to everyone who's still sticking around as I'm kind of doing the recap. But it's a lot of unprocessed thought and unexpressed in this way. So I'm kind of working through it. This is as much a cataloging of my life as it is like a little bit therapy and a little bit sharing. And I hope that this feels like a dialogue to people or feels somewhat enriching or interesting. If you're done with this topic, please just hit me with the skip, and then Order 11 hit me up on Instagram. I'll talk about it with you more. Mordecai as well. But yeah, it was about a fear of not being accepted. But over the years, I've come to accept myself. Bro, AK3, come kick it on Twitch, man. I'll chat about it there in a group conversation where you're not seen. Now, what would you do now? Oh, man, now... So one, I see myself in those conversations, and actually what is often happening in those conversations when those thoughts start to creep in is I've not listened to anyone for the last 5 minutes. I've been in a group conversation, and for 5 minutes I've been off with freaking fairies and not engaging with what anyone else is talking about. And then I snap back, and what I used to do was find some reason to move the conversation along in a really obnoxious way that was totally inconsiderate of where the conversation was. But instead I've shifted now to just going, okay, first off, it's not that no one is seeing me, it's that the conversation's taking place out here and I'm not even seeing me in this conversation. So first step is to see myself, and to do that, you take a breath. That's the best way to see yourself. Now I feel seen. Then tune into the conversation. What are people talking about? Would it help this conversation to talk about the fact that I just farted? Like, if so, cool, then I will do that. But I don't know that yet. So let me listen in for a minute, and I'll listen, and I will listen. I'm going to look the person in the eye who is talking, and I will listen to what they are saying. And then once I'm hearing the words that they're saying, I can decide for myself, do I know about this? No, I don't really. Do I want to learn about this? And generally speaking, if I'm surrounding myself with people I love and respect, if they're talking about something from the heart, then yeah, I want to know about it. So I'm going to listen. And then I listen for a while and I go, okay, cool. Oh, I've got something to contribute. Do I chime in straight away? No, there's not a logical end to this. And then this is from like improv and doing drama and things like that, where you kind of learn the concept of yes and. Someone seems to have finished off their point. And then I can go, yes, and I have this thing to offer on it. Or what I've learned recently, and I'm still working on it, is just essentially mirroring. It's not parroting, it's mirroring back and saying, I can demonstrate to you that I've heard you. So let's say it's a conversation between two people and going like, my boss was really mean to me at work today. They said a bunch of shit about my work and it made me feel really small. That made you feel really small. Yeah, and it was crazy because I've been sitting there doing all this work all day, and I've been doing this work. I've been working on this project for ages. I've been working on this project for so long. Oh, you've been working on this project for a long time. Yeah, it's nuts. And I've been working on it for like so long, and my boss doesn't even see anything that I'm doing. And it's so hard on me. That sounds really hard. And so mirroring is simply saying, I'm listening to you and I'm hearing the words you're saying, and by tactfully responding with those words rather than coming up with it in your own words, which I struggle with. I promise you, I suck at this, which is why I'm saying it out loud to kind of remind myself, call myself in that there is a better behavior than like, this is really hard for me. Oh God, that sounds really obnoxious. No, I didn't say obnoxious. I said that's really hard for me. And then that makes it inactive listening. It's kind of an ego thing I experienced when I was young. I rejected others' labels and it kind of separated me from others. I don't know if that's absolutely, man. Order 11, that's what it is. Like, and sometimes other people aren't even labeling you. Other people haven't called, like other people didn't call me weird. They didn't decide people didn't decide I was weird. I thought I didn't fit in, so I started doing weird shit. And then I attracted the label of weird, and I would say to people, I don't know, I'm weird. Like we would have casual clothes day, and it got to the point where I straight up thought myself better than everyone else at the school. Okay, if you don't agree with the other person, that's a different thing. So you're listening in and you're hearing it, and you're hearing what they're saying. The goal might not necessarily, like, if the goal is you're holding space. So it's cool. We're just diving into this stuff, by the way. This is a whole. I love this combo. There's a difference between holding space, which is you're simply there to hear this person out, and you hold space for your partners, for your family, for your loved ones, when they just need to talk about some shit. The way that y'all are doing for me right now, which I really appreciate, the fact that I get this space to share and talk about this stuff, and I'm still learning about myself through this process. I please don't take any of this as like, this is the gospel truth and this is what we need to live by. Like, I generally speak in a way of like conviction, and I generally like agree with the things I say. So I'm going to say them in a way that, you know, comes across convincing. But at the end of the day, like, I'm learning what I believe through these conversations. If you don't agree with the other person, then hopefully it's in a conversation, not in a place where you're holding space for that person to express. Because if it's just about that person's expression, they need to get it off their chest. Like I learned this in my last relationship, and I hope to carry it into all my relationships. You hear it all. You get through to the end. And if that person asks you for your opinion, what do you think? Did I do the right thing? Is that how you would go about it? Like, you wait for those cues, and then you say, again, it's important that you say, I see what you've done here, da 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 da. You made, you know, you said to your boss XYZ, or, you know, you've been working really hard on this thing. If I were in that situation, I would check this. And again, like, as much as possible, try to ask questions first before offering the answer. And this is like, mind you, this is theory. Like, if I could execute what I'm talking about right now, day in, day out, I would be next level somewhere in life. Like, I would be somewhere else in my relationships. I'd be somewhere else in my business networks and all that kind of stuff. But I don't. I'm still learning it. And by saying it out loud, I'm going to be hopefully a step closer to exercising it next time. Very unique. Most people would be very shocked, but I'm not going to change them because others are uncomfortable with my views. It's a product of my upbringing. Our upbringing is it. 100%. Lisa, you're exactly right. You know? And that's totally fine. We have different opinions. But I'm going to ask you this question. It's purely curiosity. Do you hold opinions because they're controversial? And I you know, you can answer this or you don't have to answer it. It's a difficult conversation to dive into in a public forum. One, because of the text versus voice chat element of it. And two, because it's about opinions. It's hard for me to like see your reflection in when you're writing about this stuff. But I feel like there was a period of time where it was pure contrarianism for me. And I know, like, I actually know people in my life who only believe things because they feel contrary to what the mainstream thing is. I'm not saying that that's you. I'm saying that is a phenomenon I have personally encountered in people who I've spent a lot of time around and have spent a lot of time engaged in conversations with. To give you one example, I made up a story to one particular person I know like this. I explained to them about mantis shrimp, and I told this person a few facts about a mantis shrimp. And I said, you know, mantis shrimp have a crazy vision. They can see like in 3 times the light spectrum. Anti-war and just like days like Anzac Day. To me, the fighting was for government agendas, not freedom. Okay, cool. Like, absolutely, you have a war, you have an anti-war stance, and a lot of people like really agree with that. I'm anti-war as well. I think it's pretty freaking bogus. I think if we're at a point where we need to send drones to fight other drones, then the concept of war is actually moot. Like, the whole concept of war and battle to the death was like, I believe in this thing, and I believe in this thing, and I will fight you to demonstrate divine rightness. And now it's like, we have more money to spend on better shit to blow you up better with. That's like, that to me is insanity. Like, innocent people can't pick up arms against nuclear bombs. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Contrarianism. I explained to this person that the mantis shrimp, folks, the mantis shrimp can see in 3 times the light spectrum that we can. Our visual spectrum of light is nothing compared to what a mantis shrimp can see. It can see in X-ray, it can see in infrared, it can see in ultraviolet light. It's nuts. Their eyes are crazy. They have 4,000 visual receptors on the outside of their eyeball, let alone the processing that goes on inside. they have these piston-like claws, and they can fire them out at a speed that is like you need a camera that captures things at 1/4000th of a second to capture the full range of movement that their arm undergoes. It goes so quickly. It generates a bubble it evaporates the water around it. It generates so much heat that it zaps, stuns, cooks. It cooks the prey that it zaps like that. If not stunning it with a direct hit, it just cooks it. So you have boiled fish, it then just eats that boiled fish, right? Craziness. How can it move that fast? It's breaking the sound barrier underwater. It's nuts. And then, so I've explained this, and then I've gone, and did you know they exist at insane depths in this crater outside of Mexico? In the Gulf of Mexico, there's a crater from a meteor that hit 37 million years ago. And at this point, mind you, after the piston thing, I'm making this shit up. I'm straight flying blind. And I was just improvising. This comes back to my BS.
Feeling free, never see the same. This life is twice as nice. I will repeat again.
Freeze a frame on this headspace. I'm trying to maintain my hustle in the game. We do it with no work, it don't play.
And all day, it's okay. We gon' take all our time. Maybe.
I appreciate that, Minty, and I really feel you, and I'm sorry, I definitely wasn't trying to speak about anyone specifically. I want to share with you what my experience has been through my mental health journey, and I'm not, I don't think I was trying to say that there's a wrong way that someone might be doing it. I was simply advising like the ways that I have found peace and the ways that I've found to getting to a place where I can be really open about my mental health experiences, and I can be open about my state. I can be open about the fact that I feel anxious right now. I feel like really called out right now about the way that you've responded to like how I was expressing myself about my mental health journey. And I feel like I'm in a place of a lot of peace with that, and I'm in a place of a lot of peace with who I am today. I am sorry if that, like, I'm sorry that caused you distress. That was not my goal at all. I wanted to share with you the strategies and the things that have gotten me to where I am today. I'm very proud of who I am today, and I want people to feel the way that I feel on a day-to-day basis. Like, I feel really loved for myself. I appreciate you, Mordecai. Thank you so much, man. I saw a psych for a while at a time that I really, really needed it. And they gave me these techniques and these tips. They demonstrated to me the power of mindfulness. I had very long cries at the end of 5-10 minutes of just silence, like just straight up silence in the room, where I was allowed to sit with my thoughts of anxiety and a lot of regret that I was living in that time. And I've done that work, and I'm still doing that work, and I want to share what I've done and the things that have helped me, and that's purely it. And I want to demonstrate the way that we're talking about calling it in before. I just want to demonstrate, like, here is the thing that I know works for me, and that's it. I'm not saying like there is a wrong thing. I'm not saying that someone in particular especially is doing something wrong. I'm saying, like, when I was anxious and doing like things out of anxiousness, setting up support in Pakistan be a challenge? That's a great question. Like, for myself, I don't foresee that. Like, for one, I'm gonna go, like, I'm already having great conversations with the person I'm gonna get married with, inshallah, like, God willing. And that's already a strong support. I have a really good relationship with my family now, with my mom, with my dad, with my brother as well. Like, I've got good friends who I'm constantly in contact with through mediums like this and through like just general messenger type stuff. And that's like really important to me. So yeah, I appreciate you, but at this point in time, like, I'm feeling like I'm in a good place though. If you wanted to link up and be connected, then I'm more than happy to keep the conversation rolling in a more private forum as well. So feel free to like hit me up on Instagram or Facebook or whatever works. What's up, Mano? But Minty, yeah, cheers. But yeah, Minty, I'm sorry that I caused you distress. That 100% is not my goal, and I can try to be better. Like, please feel free to hit me up and let me know. But for me, it's I'm here. I'm sharing my personal experience. This has been my journey, and what I've seen is like the moments in which I've expressed total bullshit and total anxiety to try and like get the heat off of me, and then I can express pretty freely, pretty safely, that there have been instances where I've seen people express total bullshit to get heat off of them, and they end up having the adverse effect. And I really struggle with seeing someone struggling. Like, I know from my own experience that there's another way to go about it, and I've had conversations with those people where they've then become really defensive about those defense mechanisms, and that to me is like really trippy. Like, that to me feels like digging in deeper to the thing that is alienating you further from like what I would think like is someone's goal, like where they're trying to get to. So yeah, like my goal here is not to cause distress. My goal is to share my strategies, and I'm going to keep doing that. And if that approach to sharing my mental health journey is distressful, then I apologize, and just know that that's not what I'm trying to do here. Okay, cool. But all right, Minty, can you explain to me which experience I've not been open to? Like what have I closed, or what have I shut down? Like what have I said is not a valid experience? What have I like? That's what I'm trying to understand here. Is it no one here has expressed that there's no one here. Okay, so no one has expressed an experience. No one has expressed a very specific part of who they are. And I haven't shut down anyone's experience of anything. There have been no stories shared here of what someone is going through or anything. I've had people chatting about generalities. I've had people talking about some people might feel this or some people might feel that. And I've said, absolutely, that's I totally understand that. And then there are these things that I felt, and these are my opinions about some of the things that, like some of the conversations I've had with people, not just like some of the thoughts I've formulated about people I don't know, like some of the conversations I've had with people where these are the things that I've expressed in those moments in private, and I'm happy to do it here in public, and I'm happy to keep doing that. So I just, if this format for conversation leads to distress and anxiety for people, then I invite you to just hit me up privately, and we can have it in a different way. And the only thing I can promise you is that it won't be different. Like, I'm not going to express anything differently than how I am now, because I know what my experience has been in my life, and I know how I feel about it. And if it's about expressing greater compassion or simply listening to someone else's story and being present and holding space for them, I'm happy to do that. I'm very, very comfortable with doing that, because I've done the work necessary to feel comfortable in myself to hear people talk about their experiences. It's why I feel comfortable talking about my experiences, and I hope that me talking about my experiences can allow other people to feel comfortable talking about theirs. So I'm really sorry to have caused you distress, Minty, and if you want to talk about it with me another time privately, let's do that. And if this channel is not, a cause of peace and growth and positivity for you, then please don't tune in. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm not here to change like who I am. I'm not here to change my experiences. I'm not here to sugarcoat my experiences. This last 2.5 hours, I've been sharing my experiences of my life and my journey. And if I'm being perfectly honest, I just feel like quite attacked and quite called out for what my experiences have been, which I know to be true to me. I know the things that have worked for me. And from someone who's commented in generalities and defended things that I haven't attacked, like I just like that's just what's up. And I'm more than happy to have this conversation publicly. If you want to keep having it publicly, if you want to have it privately, let's have it privately. But this is my channel. I'm sitting here, I'm chatting about my experience of why I'm going back to Pakistan. That's where it all started. I'm talking about the fact that I've lived a life with 5 to 50% anxiety brain in any given social interaction when I'm out and about. The moment a camera is pulled out, that shit goes to 99%. I have come to accept over the past couple of years that like I have lived with a lot of anxiety in my life, and to be where I am today, to have a level of strength that comes from faith, that comes from family, that comes from the friends that I have, and that comes from the amount of fun that I enjoy having in my life. I'm very, very grateful, and I feel very blessed to be able to share it with you all today. Jack, you absolute legend. Thanks for being here, man. Getting heavy with it. Getting real tonight. We'll probably be hanging out for a little bit longer. I don't fully know what I was talking about before. opinions, agree with the other person, holding space, and if you don't agree with someone,
Nothing standing in my way, no impediment. Never worry about the cost, it's irrelevant. Cause I'm never
good on you for talking the real stuff, Minty. I'm glad that the chat section on my stream is where you want to talk the real stuff. I'm glad you feel comfortable doing that here. Awesome, Minty. I appreciate that. Cool. All right, so let's talk about my name. Mashhood, name, meaning, origin. Dude, I'm feeling stoked, man. I'm excited. Proved, attested, evidence, witnessed, clear, manifest. Boom. Let's bring this up, shall we? Whoa, look at this. Bro, I'm excited. I'm so stoked with the move. It's huge, planning on getting married and doing that whole thing. So I want to dive into this. I discovered this a while back. So this is my name. By the way, for those of you that don't know me, Mashhood is my name. Right? And in the Quran, it appears in the context of mashhudan. It's given as a plural. And it talks about the ones who are witnessed. And I wish I could find the exact quotation right this minute. Moving on from there. But that's where... What's up? Is that waiting for you? Ah, that's sweet. And... what this is, so witnessed, has ended up being quite like telling for my life. Columns, let me pull this up. Y'all can see this, right? So when it came to creating a logo, it was crazy because I reached out to this homie Henry Skills. He was working with me as my manager at the time. And he was like, bro, like, go to your roots, man. Like, what does your name come from? Like, what's it mean? And I was like, I sort of dug around some more. I was like, I'm not trying to, like, make a logo out of my name or anything. But I sent him the Arabic, and he kind of got someone to design this thing, and it was like this, Mashhood. And I was like, that's pretty cool. But what I actually really dug was just the who part, right? So this here, WHO, the Wanderer is so good. Connor is a babe on it, kicks it off well. And the beat's nuts. Jordy Vincent, by the way. If Jordy Vincent's in the mix, big love. So I'm just gonna take a sip of water. Sorry, and maybe do a jumping jack. Just need to grab a bit of energy and then boogie on. All right. Boom. So, who became a question for me. It became like really iconic. It became really important then to condense this whole name down to this. So phonetically, we're looking at the characters he and wow, like, which creates the sound who, which phonetically in English, who, right? So a bit of mystery there. So who. By the way, if you're looking down below your chat box, you'll actually see the same icon tallying your channel points, which basically allow you to do cool stuff with emojis and stuff like that on this channel. And if you haven't yet, hit follow. If you can, buy a subscription. I'll be doing some cool new subscriber-only shit over the next few weeks, just to really make it worth your while. If you want to gift a sub to someone while you're here, that's great. It supports me as well. Yeah, man, absolutely. So I thought I'd bear all when I'm retracing my roots here. I wanted to share where this comes from. And who has a few meanings for me. So there's that one. There's something about, actually I quite enjoyed. So there's the mystery of who, like who is this and what's going on. Turned this way, I actually quite like that this is sort of like one of those theater mask type things. So you've got this mask and eye, and then actually, the Plague Doctor mask. I thought that kind of did that here, which I thought was pretty neat. So I kind of started playing around with this idea. I really enjoyed it, and I liked that it was quite what's the word, it's quite enigmatic. It's unclear what it means, but my favorite and actually the reason I picked it is who supplication. there's a way in Sufi Islam, especially, like people who, and this is the branch of Islam that really appealed to me, is like deeply ascetic, purely about the connection to the divine, which is I think what I feel the most clearly. The steps to God that get put in place are what I struggle with, but I know for a fact that God has always been with me. Like I can appreciate God is always with me. And Sufis have that at their core, and I really agree with that. And they use this supplication. They'll say Allahu, and it's this emphasis. It's like, oh God, like oh God, and the who to me became like nice, like that kind of means that in particular. So it just kind of stuck. So that's where this all more or less kind of sort of comes from. Like, you know, so there's my name, Mashhud in Arabic, meaning proved, attested, evidenced, witnessed, clear, manifest. And as all of my life is continuing to unfold, all of this starts to become really like, well, clear and manifest to me. But the big one for me has always been witnessed. Like being the center of attention, being seen has been so important to me for all of my life. And it's as I've begun to appreciate this relationship I have with my name, that has become super important. And that connection, what's up, Eddie Vong? Hey, what's up, Scoops? Witnessed is what it's all about. And so I feel this being seen is big for you. Yeah, exactly, man, exactly. And it has been before I knew what my name meant. Like even as a kid, it was, you know, I would strive to achieve at school so that I could be seen. So my name would be written somewhere. I would like go to the front of the assembly hall to collect a certificate, and it would mean more to me if I was picking up a high distinction certificate at the end of all of the names being called, or like among the first and one of like a few names rather than in the pack, you know. So being seen, being witnessed is really important to me. And what has become clear, yes, absolutely. So so she's a Muslim too. She has grown up there her whole time. You know, occasional like family trips overseas and things, but very limited external influence, which to me again coulda, woulda, shoulda been cause of disconnect. And yet instead, like, it's just powerful, because then the world that I've seen I can share with her and help her navigate. And then the world that she has grown up and lived in, there's so much strength that I've missed. There's so much foundational, like, religion and our culture is actually the purpose of so much of the strength that I feel today in my like character as a person today, that I can lean on with her. And even that connection to me is really powerful. So I'm really excited for it. So yeah, so that's really big. A sister and 3 nieces are Muslim. Amazing. I'm really glad to hear that. Like to me, like that became a really clear signal for me. Is like I still feel a pang of pride when I hear that someone is Muslim. Better still when someone has converted to Islam. I'm like, bless that person, because they've seen even more of the light than I have. Like I'm someone who, you know, within deep conservative fundamental Islam, the idea is that an apostate is worse than a non-believer. An apostate is someone who has seen the light, someone who's seen the religion and strayed away from it. They are truly the most cursed, compared to the ones who have never seen the light and never come to it. And so for me, like I love hearing that people have converted, especially, and in Islam it's beautiful. We actually say reverted. So someone has reverted to Islam. We're all born Muslim is the way we're presented, and people might have that stripped of them or washed off of them, or you know, be baptized or be taken in a very different direction from when they're born. But God creates us all Muslims, and we learn different things. And so to me now, I'm in a place where I keep ebbing and flowing. I had my time in 2017 and 18 where I felt like I was much closer to God, and now I feel like I've strayed or veered, and now I'm coming back and appreciating that I'm never further from or closer to God. I'm just on a journey and in a different place at different times. Absolutely, man. The third culture kid crossover, 100%. So that's what my name means. That's what my logo means. My logo is still, to be honest, still a bit of an enigma. I just really like the shape. Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Minister Farrakhan, absolutely. And look, I think that's where, like, there's room to run into a little bit of trouble, right? So to call what Malcolm X or Minister Farrakhan, anyone who tried to teach about the Brotherhood of Islam or the Church of Islam, what is it? There was a specific name where they started doing all kinds of stuff with, like, they would say like arm, leg, arm, head, ALLAH. That means that's Allah, right? So that means that we are made of God. So God body, like they talk about this kind of stuff, and they're like, so therefore Islam is the true religion. And it's like, so when Islam came about, English wasn't really a thing yet. These weren't called arm, leg, arm, head in Arabic, where Allah comes from, and Allah literally just means God. So if we're gonna do it in English, it'd be like gonads, organs, what starts with D? Dysplasia. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's this real fracturing from true core belief. But ultimately, like, again, same thing as before. Like, that's how there is a difference of opinion there. I'm not in a place where I can be like, this is right, this is wrong. I'm saying like that difference exists for these reasons. Core Islam teaches like the 5 pillars of Islam. Like, I'm happy to have this chat another time, or if you want to look it up or chat about it with me later, hit me up. But to me, like, if it brings you closer to godliness, not necessarily an objective God, because there is a sense of personal God, like everyone has a relationship with God themselves. If it brings you closer to godliness, to right, to what makes you feel right when you do it, I'm sat here doing this and I feel right. Like, there's not an ounce of guilt. There's not an ounce of remorse about the place that I'm in at this present moment. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for helping me feel right. If it brings you closer to that feeling of right, then it's good. And that is godliness. And don't fool yourself, right? Don't say, yeah, man, I smoked a joint and it made me feel so good and that felt right and everything felt right with the world and I felt at one, I felt at peace. Like, I struggle with that. I still struggle with that. I'm in conflict with that idea, because you're taking your brain away from its normal function. Yes, yeah, it's natural. It grows in the ground, man. It's so good for you, man. Like, da-da-da-da. Okay, cool. So in your baseline, ordinary state, you're saying that you're incapable of conceiving of God and divinity. But when you burn something and inhale that smoke, that's the only way you can access divinity. Like, I struggle with that. That to me is an objective divinity then. Like, what about people who have natural asthma? What about the people who struggle with breathing? Like, what about any of the other reasons? What about people who grow up in a part of the world where there isn't weed to smoke or whatever the fuck it is, like, that you decided is the thing that gets you to God? Like, no, like, God, the God that created all of us, like, to me anyway, like, that God is accessible at any moment to any single person. It's what we talk about when we talk about manifesting. It's what we talk about when we talk about universe and coincidence and synchronicity and serendipity and all that kind of stuff. Jack, great question, man. So Lisa, I appreciate you. If those teachings and the concept of compassion, of brotherhood, of seeing love in every single being, every single person around you, if it brings you closer to that, bless. But I, like, going back to Pakistan especially, I would run into trouble if I was like, oh yeah, I'm a Muslim, like I follow the teachings of Malcolm X. Like, it would not go down well. There are blasphemy laws for that kind of shit over there right now. How will people respond to my music back home? Well, we chucked on a track earlier. We had to listen to some battle rap type stuff, and that was pretty dope. You know what? Let's change this screen up again. Where am I? Folks, I'm probably gonna tune off soon as well. By the way, this has been a marathon. This has been a big case of the overshare, and it's been great. I think we're about to be hit with an ad. Maybe, I don't know. If I disappear in 20 seconds, just know that that's what's happened, and Twitch has overpowered me with an ad, so I apologize. But we listened to a great track from a Pakistani rapper, and I think the scene right now is actually quite primed for the kind of trap, heavy flow type stuff that I've been able to do. Let me see what happens. Preparing. Okay, cool. No ad. Thank goodness. For such a big change in my life, do I have any doubts, fears, insecurities? How am I answering them in my head when they pop up? I do. Let's run through them. Okay. Hang on, let me clear some music. Let me pause and actually sit on this question for a minute because it is a really good one. Let me just turn off Spotify. I want to be able to use this. Hang on, let's do this.